really vetting the teachers, you know. If they're leaning far left, you know, to the point where it's like, hey, this could become a liability, you know. I feel like a better vetting option needs to... It's something where it's more even keeled. Like, it's okay to have somebody leaning towards the left, leaning towards the right, somewhere in the middle. Yeah. But if they're far, like, pro-communist, pro-socialism, Marxist ideology... And I was starting to see patterns of like, okay, they're more for family, traditional values, less heavy on government regulation. And then as I got older, I started seeing Democrats being a little bit more almost like global in a sense, less about the fabric of our nation, you know. And that was like, wow, that's a big turnoff to me. I love this country. And I felt like something was like beckoning me, like it wasn't words, it was just something was like this, you know. And then I felt it kind of going away, and then I reached out to it, and then I prayed. I said, you know, in my mind, I said, you know, Lord Jesus, you know, can you be my savior? You know? And I just remember this like flood of like joy coming in my heart, you know, that it was real.
Hey there, you made it. You are settling in to listen to another episode of the only podcast that has less favorable reviews than the new Taylor Swift album. Yep, it's the Why Can't We Talk About That podcast. Before letting you listen to this week's life-altering conversation, I just want to remind you to send your comments, questions, compliments, and insults to Why Can't We Talk About That at proton.me. Also, please leave a review of this episode on whatever platform you happen to be listening to it on. And lastly, as always, I am always looking for new guests to have on the show, so let me know if you are interested. I can promise you, it's even more fun than it sounds. My guest this week is Jeffery Martinez, the founder and head instructor of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Nipomo, a certified training center under Gracie University. Originally from Managua, Nicaragua, Jeff's family fled communism in 1982 and was granted political asylum in the United States, where he later became a naturalized citizen. Jeffery is an Army veteran and lifelong martial artist, holding black belts in karate, judo, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. This pretty much means that he could choose any one of 3 different styles to beat me up, but I know that he wouldn't unless I really ticked him off, because he's just too nice of a guy. When he's not on the mat, he's probably curating playlists, reading history, or spending time with his family on the California Central Coast. I had a great time talking with Jeff, and I know that you will enjoy listening to our discussion. It'd be nice to have a little protection if if something were to happen, you know.
For sure.
But yeah, I did. So was that like is it karate? No, it's
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Yeah. It was,
but you're in a different thing than Court, right? Like he has his dojo.
Yeah, we cross train with each other.
Okay.
We try to meet at least once a week. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
Okay.
And but yeah, he does judo and taekwondo, and then
that's right.
And I have a black belt also in judo.
Okay.
And then he has a brown belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Through our organization. So
yeah,
we've just been.
So you guys just train with. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, for the last 10 years or so. Yeah.
Who got into martial arts first between the two of you?
I think Court did.
Okay.
I think I'm approaching 30 years this coming April.
Dang.
And I think he's like at 30. He's got maybe 5 more years on
me.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
And how old are you? You're like my age, right?
I'm your age, yeah.
Okay.
I'm 49.
Oh, you're older than me.
Okay.
Okay, I'm 47.
47, okay.
Boy, that 50's right around the corner for you, man.
It is.
When's your birthday?
Yeah, September.
Oh, so it just passed.
Yeah,
okay, so you got like a whole
I got
another 10 months or so until you had to hit the big 5-0.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember you in high school.
Yeah.
Daddy, I think we had English lit.
Okay, I'm glad you're saying all this because I was racking my brain because I know that I knew you at
I had one class with you.
Okay.
And it was and maybe a home run. Did you graduate in 96?
96. Yeah.
Okay, so I was in 95.
Okay.
So I think I had, we had that one English teacher, and he kind of looked like Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, Mr. Pratt.
Mr. Pratt.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
he hated me.
I do remember, that's funny. I do remember there was some juniors and seniors in there.
Yeah.
More juniors than anything,
Okay.
if I remember. And,
Okay. Yeah.
I do remember you were always quiet. You said a few words.
Yeah.
And then when brief times we had to stand up to present some, you were right to the point.
Dude, it was bad.
I do remember him like trying to like pick at you a little bit, like trying to like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say antagonize you, but
Yeah.
try to like. Well, why you think that way?
Right.
Well, no, tell me more.
Well, the one memory I have from that class was we had to do like a book report.
Yeah,
and the book I was assigned was The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh,
and,
okay, yeah.
And I was at a time in my life, you know, like when I was younger, I used to love reading, all that kind of stuff. Now that I'm older, I love reading. Mm-hmm. But that was a time in high school where I was more interested in girls and partying and doing those kind of things. So I was like, I don't know, reading.
Yeah.
So like I literally just did a skim read through that book.
Yeah.
And then I had to give like an oral presentation in the class, and I was like just giving the basics, and he started asking me these questions like, I don't know, like what are you talking about? You know, I don't know. And I would fall asleep in his class all the time. He called my parents.
Oh, wow.
And told them that I should, because I was working at Taco Bell at the time.
Okay.
And he called them and told them I shouldn't be working so many hours at Taco Bell because he thought I was working late, and that's why I wasn't getting enough sleep. And then I was sleeping through his class. And the reality was I didn't care about his class because I was bored. You know, I'm sure it was an awesome class. Looking in hindsight, it's like, he's a cool guy. He's probably a good teacher and fun stuff. But, I mean, did you have Mr. Trumbull? Do you remember Mr. Trumbull from Rigetti? I only asked this because I think he was English also. Was he English or math? I think he was English.
Okay.
But I was just at a wedding last weekend.
Okay.
Out of town, and this guy comes up, and he's like, he asked me and my wife, he's like, oh, my name's John Trumbull. Is there any were either one of you my students? And I go, oh my gosh, yes. And I told him my name. He's like, yeah, I remember you now. You know, I was like, yeah, everybody. I was a troublemaker, so all the teachers remember me.
Did you have psychology?
Did I take psychology? I don't think I took psychology.
You were in that class.
Who was a teacher?
He was an older guy.
Okay.
Glasses.
Okay. I took psychology at Hancock, but I don't think I took it.
Maybe I did. So maybe that was the only class I had with you. Okay. Yeah.
But then I remember bumping into you later. Was that at Calvary or was it
Calvary?
Did you go to Calvary?
Yeah, I went to Calvary. Back in like
2001, 2002, around there.
Yeah, I started going there 97.
Okay.
All the way up till 2003 when I moved away.
Okay.
Yeah, out of the area.
Okay, that's shortly after I think it was like 2001.
Yeah, I do remember you going, and then I remember catching you a few times in between.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
Like maybe 2000. I don't remember. Where was it? It was maybe 13.
Okay.
No. When I moved back was 2015. And I remember going to the library when my kids would visit.
Oh, okay.
And I remember seeing you there.
Yeah, I'm still over there. I've been working there since 2008. So.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, parts of it.
County? Retirement?
It's city.
City?
It's city.
Okay.
Retirement's not bad. The benefits are good.
Yeah.
How funny, man. That's
just
so funny.
A few times I would pop in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a trip. I'm glad you brought up the Rigetti thing, though, because I know that I remember knowing you in high school, but I couldn't remember like what class, like how, like if we had a mutual friend maybe or something. I couldn't remember that part.
It was just that one class. I remember.
Yeah, man. And you remember me as being quiet. Now that's something I've never heard before.
Yeah, you were quiet.
Okay, it's probably because I was sleeping all the time in the class.
I don't even remember you sleeping. I just remember you coming in sometimes a little late, and you're like,
yeah,
you'd be like,
I didn't care at all, dude. I did not.
And then the hour was out, and then you're
gone.
You're out. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
And I think he had I don't remember how his class is set up. It was weird. It was like if I remember, it was like.
Yeah, it was like a square.
Yeah, it was like a square,
Where
and you were like up in the like. If I was sitting down closer to the door, you were like towards the left side. Yeah, somewhere.
You got a good memory, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I one funny thing about him was I remember I think it was during the topic of Beowulf or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And he started getting into like. He recited like a poem or a little excerpt from a book, and he was speaking like Old Norse.
Oh, crazy!
So it was kind of it was like had this like Germanic tone to it, and he was all into it.
Yeah, it probably fit him too, and he was looking like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Such a trip, dude.
Yeah, and then I don't even know if he's still alive. I'm sure
I don't
he
either.
is.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those teachers. I mean, some of them were so old when we were there.
I remember. I think his name was. Oh gosh, he was a science professor, and he was kind of heavy set, bald headed. Guy.
Mr. McDaniel.
Mr. McDaniel.
Let me tell you a little story.
Yeah,
that's the way he started everything.
Let me tell you this story.
And then he just go on and on, dude.
Yeah. And then I remember one time, and I was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, I said something, and he was talking about his. Because he was a Navy veteran during the Korean War. So
wow.
He was coming up with some story. I guess he served in an aircraft carrier, and he said something like, "Yeah," blah, blah, blah. And then I said, "When was that? Back in World War I?" And everyone started. It was like, "Well, no, it was during actually the Korean War." And then I was at home one day, and then I get a. My dad calls me, and he was very, very reserved, very formal kind of a guy.
Yeah.
So I got a call from Mr. McDaniel. I have to say, I was very embarrassed.
He called to tell your dad that what you did?
Yeah. And just that one thing,
Yeah.
And then he's all, "Well, are you against him?" I'm like, "No, I mean, sometimes can get kind of boring."
Yeah.
Well, that's not the attitude I want from you. And then the next day. Oh, and then I think my dad had me write him an email apology or something.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then he accepted, I guess, and nothing happened. And I was on the ball with him.
Nice, dude.
But I remember him. He would crack me up because he had. A bunch of old Apple IIe computers.
Yeah, because he had that radio club or whatever.
Oh, he did?
He
Okay,
had
I didn't
that
know
too.
that.
I remember the amateur radio club. Or
oh, that's right. He was recruiting for that. I do remember. If you guys are interested, I'm like...
And I'm like, I'm not a nerd.
I'm not interested. And he was really big on getting writing your notes during a lecture.
Yeah.
And then typing them up, and it helped. And I remember using that later on in college.
Okay,
it helped.
There you go.
I mean, but I do remember him. And then later on when I had graduated, I remember bagging his groceries. "Hi, Mr. McDaniel."
Oh, funny, man.
He's very respectful.
That's awesome.
But I do always remember him because the fact that I thought very highly of him when he said that, "Hey, I have to teach you this evolution stuff, but." It's not to say that there's other views.
Oh, he did?
I believe in creation.
Okay.
And this is why, and this is why. But by the state of California, I have to do tell you. I have to show you this, but I don't exactly agree with these points.
Interesting.
And I thought that was very bold.
And you were a Christian at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't, so it probably just flew over my head. Him saying that. How funny.
Yeah.
Just the memory lane stuff is like, dude.
Yeah.
So
the unfortunate thing is my dad transferred from Castle Air Force Base, which was in Merced, San Joaquin Valley. Okay. And then he got a job at Vandenberg Air Force Base. And then so I moved going into my junior year to Rigetti.
Oh,
that was rough.
I bet, dude.
Not knowing anyone.
Okay.
I played JV baseball. I kind of started meeting some people.
So you probably knew Brian Sowers then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then... it was just tough, just kind of immersing.
Okay.
Who
were some of your close friends in high school?
I really didn't have very close friends.
Okay.
I just kind of hung out in the area, hung out in the library, ate lunch there.
That sucks coming in your junior year.
Yeah, and then I met, towards the end of my senior year when they were doing more activities, I started connecting with more people, and so that was. A little bit more funner, but
cool, man.
Yeah,
very cool.
But I never went to any of the reunions or anything.
I haven't either.
Not enough connection.
Yeah. And I've had people. There's certain people that went to high school with us that were like me, not believers at the time, but now are.
Okay.
And when they have the reunions, they all say, "Oh, we gotta go, Ryan. We gotta go and show them that now we're." I said, "I'm not going over there." No, but they need to see how your life has changed and you're different. I said, "Hey, if they want to come over and hang out, that's fine. But I'm not going to a reunion, you know."
Right.
It's like, And even now we're getting the emails or the Facebook things
it's like
going.
30-year reunion.
Yeah, I think it's the 30-year coming up, and some of those old people I haven't talked to in forever are putting together. I was like, I remember her. I haven't talked to her since high school.
It's probably going to be like 8 people.
10
at the most. Like,
why? I have talked to some people that have gone to those. And
really?
They're pretty well attended.
Okay, man, I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Mark Teixeira has been to a few of them. I don't know if you remember Mark. He's been to a few of them. He was telling me, he's like, they're pretty fun. But I don't know. It's just not really my thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
And then plus I'll bring my wife there, and then people will be telling her stories about my high school days. No, come on, man. You know? It's past all that now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, cool. So I usually start with just 3 real quick questions, just to kind of set the tone for where we're going. Yeah. The first one is, what is your favorite genre of music? If you had to just pick one.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah, it's hard for me too. But.
Yeah, you know, I kind of a little bit eclectic, but I tend to lean towards like synthetic pop, like 80s kind of music, because I'm an 80s kid, a 90s kid, you know?
Dude, there's some good stuff in there.
EDM is kind of my go-to.
Okay.
I guess that would be my favorite genre.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I like just chilling to like soundtrack music.
Okay, like scores and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, like classical.
And if I really like the movie, and then I like this composer. Let me check out his stuff.
Okay. You would have been good at the other night. My wife Bethany, she found a YouTube channel thing where it was it was 40 different movie scores.
Oh, okay.
But it would just play 30 seconds of it, and or was it 15? It was 15 seconds, and you had 15 seconds to guess who it was.
Oh,
or even
wow!
What the movie was from? Like it wouldn't tell you.
Oh, that's
we
cool.
were having fun.
Oh, that's cool.
But we're not very good at it. You probably better. Like, oh yeah, this is. I got some of the major ones like Star Wars and Braveheart. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I enjoy that kind of music too. But mainly when I'm reading and stuff, I'll listen to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'd say my influence was probably my siblings. I had, I was like a surprise baby, so my siblings, the youngest next to me is like 6 years older, and so I would have to say my older brother Bruno, and my older brother Rodney. Rodney was a little bit more like the old VH1 kind of music, like soft rock kind of. But it was not. It was my other brother. I always thought he was cool when I was young. And they were like sub parents to me in a sense. They'd drive me around, and he'd be blasting his music like Depeche Mode, Erasure, Tears for Fears.
Yeah, classics.
Like what they called new wave music back then. And I just gravitated towards that as I got a little older. I was listening to some of that stuff. Okay. I still do every once in a while to this day.
Yeah.
That's
awesome, man.
And so forth. And then some new artists that have popped up. And
but you'd say EDM if you had to pick one.
Yeah, it'd probably be EDM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're going to delve into some of that stuff.
Okay.
Politically, do you lean more right or more left?
I would say right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And in one word, describe your spiritual beliefs.
My spiritual beliefs. In one word?
1 word. Maybe 2. You can use 2.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we'll flesh these out as we get to it.
Oh, man, I would have to say redeemed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good one, man. Very cool. Awesome. All right. So let's go down this musical path here.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of this. So when you mention like EDM, is that in, like, that's different than the new wave of the 80s, right? Because EDM is more... I
think it kind of stems...
Kind of the same?
Yeah, it stemmed off like techno, and then I'd say it's a little more softer than like heavy techno or whatever.
Okay. It's not as dancey. It's more kind of chilling.
Yeah, I definitely like the more chill, the chill type. Sometimes there's not even lyrics, and I just like the flow of the music.
Oh yeah.
Music that I could like work out to.
Okay.
And jog or whatever,
Okay.
or or just kind of just relax and meditate, you
Okay.
know, or have it in the background while I'm.
And for you,
plugging
it's
away.
the same style of music that does both those things for you? To relax and meditate and work out?
Almost,
Okay.
almost, yeah,
Okay.
almost.
Because that's interesting, because I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm
Yeah.
chilling, I want something real, like, kind of mellow. And,
Yeah.
But if I'm working out, or if I'm, not that I ever work out, but if I do, or I'm doing anything, it's got to be, like, heavy, something I can, like, sing along to big time, or something just really, some real, like, heavy guitars or something, like Metallica or something like that, you know?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a little bit of blend of both, because I think anything synthetic pop or,
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I have to ask then, especially because you're a believer. But, have you ever heard of Joy Electric?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
That's one of my favorites. That's my
Yeah.
all-time favorite groups. That was one of the first music I got into when I became a Christian.
Yeah.
But most people haven't heard of them. Even Christians, most haven't.
Yeah,
heard of them.
I have tuned into a few channels where it's like EDM, Christian music.
Okay.
And stuff that I can more relate to.
Yeah.
It just, I get so bored with the typical, like, just Christian contemporary
it's terrible.
music on the radio and things like that.
Yeah.
It seems like to me, and I was speaking to my wife about it because she was focusing on music at one point in her career, as far as like she was doing like talent search and things like that for like a record label.
Dang.
And but then she switched careers.
Okay.
But anyways, it seems to me, and I might be wrong, but it just seems like all the Christian contemporary music is all coming from like Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So it seems like they have the same producers, and it has like it's like this like soft rock, but mixed with like country. Mm-hmm. It's like some kind of blend.
Yeah.
I don't mind country every once in a while. It's just not my cup of tea.
Right.
But it seems like it's all like and then from there, it seems like all the worship music comes from those studios, and then worship leaders, hey, we're gonna buy this, we're gonna replicate, and then you know what I mean?
It becomes cookie cutter, right? It's the same.
And it's like, wow, this sounds. I mean, mind you, there's some good worship songs out there at church and things like that. But a lot of it, it's very, like what you said, cookie cutter, the strumming of the guitar is the same. They try to emulate some of these artists that, it just, I almost wish the country industry music, not country, the Christian music, gave more chances to some of these different groups to kind of like give it some more variety, you know, and sound. You know?
So you probably remember this because I got saved in 2001.
Okay.
So during that time, we had radio station around here. We had K-Love and we had K-Life.
Yes,
do you remember this?
Them,
so K-Life was local out of San Luis. Mm-hmm. So they're like right there, and then K-Love was more like national. Mm-hmm. And I used to think like K-Love was more like the mellow kind of worshipy music, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but I didn't hate either. It wasn't like hate. Like, that's why I listen to it at church, but I don't want to listen to it in the car. And then K-Life had more of the kind of more dancer, like you Toby Mac on there, and some of that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. And then RadioU came along. Do you remember RadioU? Right?
Are they still around?
They're still around, but they're no longer. They don't have a station in Lompoc like they did. So we can't get it.
I did enjoy listening to them.
Yeah.
Weren't they from kind of like Canada?
They were from Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio
is where they started.
Okay,
yeah.
I remember one of the female DJs. She was like, "Hi, this is RadioU."
Yeah.
And she had this like different accent.
She did. What was her name? Yes, she totally had an accent.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could remember her name.
And my wife was thinking, I bet you she's Canadian.
Yeah, maybe. I think she was. Yeah, she totally had the accent. Even if she wasn't Canadian, she definitely had the accent down.
But I liked it. It was a little more eclectic.
It was
great. Some great beats in there.
Oh my gosh,
and
dude.
I was like,
it opened up the whole world to me.
Yeah.
Because I was coming off of secular music that I was very into, either gangster rap or like heavy like rock or like punk rock. I was really into punk rock still. That's my favorite. But so when I started listening to RadioU, I was like, wait a minute, there's Christians versions of this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, and it just opened my whole world because I was like, you mean there's more than just like Newsboys and Third Day and like some of the stuff, which I didn't have a problem with it, but I wanted what I really liked, you know, and so that's all these Christian punk bands and even like hard kind of some of the rap rock bands that were going. I was like, dude, this is really cool, you know. Yeah. So that was great. Yeah. But
yeah, we need more of that.
We do.
And I think churches need to be a little more open to like expanding to those different genres instead of just making it just a corporate, like the same cookie cutter thing, you know.
Right.
Unless you're going to obviously a very old school Baptist where it's just all piano and
hymns and stuff.
Yeah. But and I mean those hymns are pretty powerful. But if you can have some twists where you can modernize some of those, the sounds. I do remember growing up going to church and they would have like a guest song or something. You know, somebody from the congregation or even visiting would come up and do a solo song.
Like their own song they wrote, you mean? Or
that or something that was out there, you know? And I always appreciated that. I was like, oh, it's a little different. And then, you know, then the sermon would start.
Okay.
But I you know, the few churches I've attended around the area, and even when I was living in Nashville, North Carolina, when I was in the Army, you don't see that, you know, nowadays.
Not anymore, right?
Not anymore.
I feel like there was more of that back when I first got saved in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
And now
yeah.
it's more like, well, like even this morning,
I'm
sorry to knock this song. It's a just fine song, but the song Waymaker.
Yes.
Very popular song, but I mean, there's like 10 words in that whole song.
Yeah.
And we say them over and over and over and over and over, and that's like a 7-minute song. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like, this is like, it's just it's too repetitive for me.
Right.
You know, but people love it. People love that song. It's a very popular song, but which is probably why we sing it every other week.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I wish we'd have more variety, you know?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I want to go to one of those churches that I've seen on YouTube where it's like an inner city.
Yeah.
It's a Christian church in the inner city, and their worship team is literally rappers.
Oh, wow.
And they they're like rapping worship music.
Okay.
I was like, now that is something I can get into right there. I
Well,
might be the only white guy in the congregation. But hey, I'll go for it, man, you know?
Yeah, there was a church. I remember I stopped for a couple times, and then it was a little weird because I guess their pastor had done something and he was basically ousted out, so they were like in this weird transition of getting a new pastor or whatever. But I appreciated their worship. I don't remember what church. It was off Skyway in Santa Maria,
where there's like 400 churches.
Yeah.
That street has so many churches.
Maybe it was New Life, I'm not sure. Okay. And don't quote me on this, but But they were pulling out some keyboards and like making it kind of like
so I've been to New Life,
like a little bit,
and they had a great worship team.
Yeah,
like I remember going because my oldest daughter, who's now married to this boy.
Okay,
when she was just courting him, that's the church his family went to.
Okay,
so her and I went to their church one Sunday because he wanted her to check it out. So I went with her, and we went, and I remember thinking, man. I mean, I didn't love the message. I'll say that flat. I wasn't a fan of the message. But the worship team was, all of them. There was like 4 different singers, guys and girls, and they all sounded like they could have been on American Idol.
Wow.
And it was just great. And then this music style was good.
Yeah.
I think they had keyboards.
I think that was the one that
that's probably what it was. Yeah,
that was the one that I attended a couple times. Yeah,
so cool, man.
Yeah.
But what church you at now?
We go to First Christian Church now.
That's where my daughter and husband go now?
Yeah, it's a good church. With my job, Monday through Saturday, it's tough to like really get plugged in.
Okay.
It's a good church. I like the pastor, solid messages.
Okay.
Worship's really good. Overall, I mean, I can't be overly critical. I mean, other than, it would be nice to have a little bit different kind of variety, but...
You should learn the keyboards and get up there, man.
I know. Sometimes because they have this like little intro music where they play like just quick like scenes of church life there and stuff. And I'm like, hey, it's some little good little beat here.
Yeah.
What if you had somebody say, hey, I don't need everyone here.
Right.
I just have 3-4 keyboards.
Okay.
And he's just playing, and he's just mixing some tunes up. I'm like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Every once in a while,
That's
just get
so
somebody
cool,
to change the vibe.
How long you guys been over there?
I think we've been there for. I think it's been close to 5 years ish.
Oh wow.
3. Yeah.
Okay.
somewhere around there.
Yeah, I was going to a men's Bible study over there in the early morning for a while, and it was Don Knapp.
Oh, okay.
I think he was one of the leaders of it. This guy named Mike Knight. I don't know if you know Mike Knight.
Okay.
Much older than us. I think he's like in his 80s now, but I still see him at Panera sometimes. He makes a point to come over and say hi, which is cool. But it was a cool little study. We used to go over there. It was like 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
in one of their little classrooms, and they usually have coffee and donuts, which is important. You can't get into the Word without coffee and donuts. But I know I've actually had lots of people on the show that go to First Christian.
Oh, okay.
So, and I always say, oh, maybe you know so-and-so. It's like such a big church. Like,
it
you
is
probably know him by face, maybe, but
it is a really big church, and maybe in the future when I get a few more instructors to commit to more of the classes, then I might free up for my wife and I to get involved in like a Bible study or something.
Those are the best, dude.
Plugged in.
Yeah, the little home studies and stuff where you get to really know people.
Yeah.
So Monday through Saturday you teach martial arts.
Yeah, I teach. Saturday is my shorter day. It's and Fridays. Saturdays I'm there from 9 to typically about 12:30. Teaching.
Wow.
There's an hour block where my wife's leading the class. It's a ladies'
she does
class.
this too.
Yeah. So she does it too.
Is this how you met her, or did she get into it because you were into it?
No. I got her when we started dating. I started having her come to some of the classes,
awesome.
and then she loved it. And then she became a certified instructor herself.
That's cool, man.
And she's been training for about 8 years now. Crazy. Yeah.
And how long ago did you guys meet? When was that?
We met back in what was it? Right at the end of 2016.
So not that long ago.
Yeah.
So you guys are still kind of like newlyweds almost. What, you've been married 10 years or so? 8 years?
We've known each other for about that much, but we've been married, what is it? Man, this is crazy.
Oh, she might listen to this.
I know.
You better get this right, dude.
Yeah, it's... golly. We're coming in on our 6th year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that still counts as newlyweds, I would say.
No, 7.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
Yeah, we're coming along our 7th year this February.
And any kids yet or no?
No kids. She didn't have the desire to have any kids.
Okay.
And then, when we got married, she was like 38 and I was already like 43 or so.
Okay.
So we were kind of like, I wouldn't have mind.
Right. But it wasn't a make or break for you.
It wasn't a make or break it. And, and I already have 2 from a previous
you do?
marriage.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a daughter that's 20 and then a son that's 24 now. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice, dude. So you got married like almost right out of high school then?
Yeah.
I
was like, gosh, it's like 24.
Okay.
We got married. Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah,
and then I adopted her son, and then within not too long, maybe 3 years later, we had our own.
Yeah. Okay. So the 24-year-old son was hers from a previous, but you adopted him. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So,
are they live around here? Or are they?
He lives in Tennessee.
Okay.
He's married, and then
nice, dude. Any grandkids yet?
Not grandkids.
Not yet.
Yeah. Right. He called me the other day, and he's surprised. Hey, we have some amazing. Is like, and I was expecting. I was like, man, no, we're going to be buying our first home.
Okay.
So
that's
exciting. I was
exciting.
really proud of him. Yeah, they were been living in an apartment for last 2-3 years, and then yeah, they're doing
Very
well.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
And your daughter lives where?
She lives with us. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she moved back.
Okay.
And she was homeschooled, and then decided to make the big change and move in with us. And go to Ellen Hancock College.
Nice, man.
And,
very cool.
Yeah, it's been a huge blessing. Yeah.
Okay.
Coming from a pretty rocky divorce.
Yeah. And does her mom live in the area too, or is she?
No, her parents live in Santa Maria, but she lives in Tennessee.
Okay.
In the Murfreesboro area, which is about an hour, about 30 minutes from Nashville.
Okay. Yeah, we drove through there.
Southeast. Yeah.
We were looking at homes in like the Knoxville area for a while, so we were.
Knoxville's nice. Yeah,
so pretty, dude. Over there, like in the Smoky Mountains, and like what's that? Pigeon Forge.
Yeah,
so it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to.
Yeah,
but that heat and humidity—that's a whole new ball game right there, man. You said you lived in North Carolina for a while, right?
North Carolina was much more tolerable.
Oh, really? Than Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as the heat. In the summer, Tennessee gets muggy, hot and humid, like starting in like May and it goes all the way to like almost September.
Ugh.
And that's the one thing you got to get used to.
That's why we opted not to move there.
yeah.
That was the one thing.
They do have the most beautiful like fall weather though.
Yeah.
Like it lasts for a while. Like the you can see the trees, the leaves. Everything just changes colors. So colorful, beautiful. And then they have a longer winter, so you're wearing a coat for months, you know.
And it snows occasionally, right?
Occasionally. Okay. Like every year you get a little bit of light snow, and then maybe every other year you get some heavy snow where it lasts maybe 3 or 4 days.
Oh, yeah, see?
North Carolina was kind of similar to that.
Okay. That's perfect, though, really. I mean, you don't want so much snow that you're, like, snowed in for months.
Yeah.
But enough that you can play with it for a couple days. That's kind of fun, you know?
Right, yeah. They get a lot of black ice, so then they get a lot of, like their version of Caltrans, which is, I think, their T-Dot.
Okay.
And they get in there and try to salt the major roads out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool, man.
So
That's
lived
cool.
there for 6 years. Yeah.
Okay. And you were there that was because of the military, or?
No, we decided to move back in 2006, just career change, thinking, the housing market was kind of, at that time, we were thinking it was crazy then.
Right.
And we were like,
it's just gotten better.
yeah. Well, it's stabilized. And, but we were like, we were already hearing people moving over there saying, we got some nice property or home.
Yeah.
And then when we got there, it wasn't exactly that way. We still had to hustle and try to make it happen.
Yeah.
And we bought a nice townhome. And then it was just, and then soon thereafter, the economy crashed, 2008. Mm-hmm. And they were doing massive layoffs. I had a nice job with the YMCA of Middle Tennessee.
Okay.
And I was teaching fitness programs for kids, and then I was teaching group fitness classes for adults.
Okay.
Doing like a boot camp type fitness, Pilates, and then I had a chance to teach some senior citizens. Some water aerobics. So it was a really fun time.
Was that a transfer? Like, were you working for the YMCA in this area first? Or did you just got that there?
Yeah, I did work briefly in Santa Maria. So I had some experience there. And then they were expanding it at the time. They have at that time, they had over 25 plus YMCAs. And they were really well funded.
Okay.
You think of, old money there, and music stars would donate. Country
that's
music
awesome.
stars, so it's not like the one here in Santa Maria that's kind of like, kind of rinky dink in a sense.
Right.
But over there, they were like, and the YMCA in Middle Tennessee is, and I'm sure it still is the third largest in the nation.
Oh, dang!
As an organization, so
Okay.
They go back all the way from the Civil War times over there. So
and they probably keep the C over there. They actually keep the C in the YMCA.
The Christian
part, because around here they just pretend that doesn't exist. I was part of the management team at the one branch I was at, and we'd have meetings, and there would be prayer. See, that's what drew us over there. That's the main thing that drew us over there was the politics. The kind of the southern, more religious community and all that kind of stuff, and it was just such a difference. Even when we were over there, because we were almost going to move there. We had a realtor over there. We had flown out and met with her a few times. We were seeing properties.
Oh, so you guys were serious?
And she was so funny. She would drive around and she kept telling us because of what the prices were and stuff. And she's like, "This is when Biden was president," and she's like, "This president is making my job so easy." Because she's like, all these people are moving from like all these blue states into places like Tennessee. Like I remember the first wave of that way back was like, people were going to Arizona and New Mexico, and then it was Idaho was the big place everybody's moving to, and then kind of that Tennessee area, Oklahoma, Tennessee area got really big in that too, and then and of course everybody lives there like, man, California, quit coming over here. You're making our housing prices go up, and you're bringing your politics. California, your California politics, and
for sure. I remember like Nashville. When I lived in the outskirts of Nashville called Bellevue, and it was kind of more or less like a subdivision of the greater Nashville. Okay. But Nashville was really very eclectic, like people from all over the nation, very more liberal, for sure. Yeah. They weren't, definitely like the old kind of country, kind of like stereotypical people there now in Nashville. Is very eclectic. I know they brought in Nissan from California. Their plant moved there at that time. So and then they have Vanderbilt Medical. Like the biggest children's hospital kind of thing. But there's some things I enjoyed, some I didn't. But I did get to run a Jiu-Jitsu program out there, club for 3 years. I was really proud about that.
Nice.
And just to continue my journey there.
Yeah, that's so cool. So right now, you and your wife both do this as both your full-time jobs?
Just me. I run the school full-time. Okay. And then my wife works for the county now. She's she works with like child therapy. Oh. And
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's kind of what my older daughter does. She's an ABA for like kids on the spectrum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not for the county, but she works out of San Luis, and then she does like house calls and that kind of stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. She does more of like the counseling and stuff, with the kids. That's cool. A lot of them are either have are foster kids, and they're just having a rough transition with where they're at and things like that.
That's so good. There needs to be people like that, though, like what your wife's doing.
So she works like with kids ages 5 to like 16, I believe. Yeah.
Is that hard though? Does she ever come home like distraught over some of the stories she's hearing and stuff? Yeah.
Some, and then some. She'll tell me that it could be rewarding and
sure.
But she's been plugging along with that and. Prior to that, she was working for a Christian organization where it was called Pathway, and they deal with foster kid placements and things like that. And she worked a little bit with adoptions as well. Okay. So, but that's her career path, and on the side, she's assisting me with some of the teachings, the classes.
So you said she has like an all girls class. Is that what you said?
Yeah, an all ladies. Called Women Empowered.
Nice.
So it's a great entryway for ladies to try jiu-jitsu for the first time.
So you can go in there as a beginner.
Right. Yeah, and it's like ages 13 all the way through. From there. Okay. So we have a nice wide array of ladies that come in, and they come. Some come once a week, some twice a week. Okay. But yeah, it's basically what the Gracies did. In like,
is this Gracie like Hoist Gracie?
Yeah. It's like really his older brother Horian.
Okay. Are they all H's? Are they all H's in that family?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Hoist's the only one I've ever heard of because he did the UFC thing,
right. So. Yeah. Yeah, Hoist is one of the brothers. So Horian came in the late 1979. Okay. He wanted to be an actor, and so he was, doing little spots of like side gigs and doing some stunt work, and then, but at the same time, he was running like a garage workouts. Oh, cool! People were coming in for lessons. Okay, and then it just started expanding from there. And then eventually got some funding from one of his students, American students, that helped fund his first academy. Okay. And then from there, they were doing these kind of challenge matches with other martial artists and stuff, and they were becoming believers in it. Wow, that's so cool. And then eventually, they wanted it to do it mass.
Okay.
And so
like
that's
expand across the country kind of thing.
So then that's when the UFC, he co-founded the UFC.
Wow.
1993.
Okay.
And had his younger brother Hoist.
He co-founded the UFC, the older brother of Hoist Gracie.
Yeah. Horian,
Crazy.
Yeah, with Art Davey.
Okay. Because wasn't Hoist Gracie the first winner ever of a UFC? Or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, he won like the first two, and
Okay.
then he was able to continue on the third for some reason, and then he won one more or whatnot.
Well, I'd see if I was in that, I'd retire early, man.
Yeah.
Since I'm not boxing, that kind of stuff, I'd be like, man, I'd win a couple titles, and I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, before I hurt myself too bad, you know? So.
Yeah. And then they were starting to have rule changes that it was just kind of naturally heading that direction. And then finally Horian just sold it.
Okay.
And then moved on from there.
But this is the group you came into?
Right.
As far as learning Jiu-Jitsu?
Yes. So that side of the family of the Gracies, that's the part of our organization we're still with.
And is that why you were in Brazil?
Yes,
to do with that?
Yeah, had to do with that. They were celebrating their 100th anniversary of teaching as a family. So 1925 to now. So it was pretty cool.
Wow, man.
Yeah, there was two original brothers. There was Carlos, was the eldest, and then he was teaching his brothers, and then he eventually, taught his younger brother Elio Gracie, and Elio's the line that we're part of.
Okay.
Anyways, so and then from all those years, they were just celebrating.
Just fun.
Yeah. So
that's so cool.
Huron, he's one of my instructors at headquarters, and for 2 years he was working with the different Gracies factions, if you will, trying to say, hey, let's do this. Let's meet in Rio. Let's do a big event. And a family dinner and everything.
That's so cool.
And and he was able to get a lot of participation. It was like over 50 Gracies there, and
big family. And
about 30 of them were actually on the mat teaching. And so it was pretty incredible. Yeah, it was. It was really cool. Amazing trip. We went to Copacabana in Rio and just kind of toured the area and had a really cool private tour guide that took us around.
Dude, that's so cool. Someday, man, I hope to get to travel like that and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the country for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Next week, and it's just to Mexico.
Okay.
And it's on a cruise, so it's not really going. I mean, because we are going to obviously get off the boat in Mexico.
Right.
Stuff, but
yeah, for sure.
That's like the first, but like in my head, someday once our kids are all out of the house and me and my wife can travel together, I hope to go we want to go to Asia, we want to go to Europe and travel over there.
Definitely.
And I would love to travel, look at the old castles in Scotland.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Or even go to Japan and because we've had lots of exchange students over the years, and most of them have been from Japan.
Oh, very nice.
And they all live in different parts of Japan.
You have places to go.
Yeah, and they always say, "Oh, when you come, stay with us." I'm like, "Man, we got the whole country set. We could go to everywhere. We could travel the whole country and not pay for a hotel once."
That's how I feel with our network.
Yeah,
because it's much global with the Gracie University brand, and I've met instructors from all over the country, and the world. Okay. And like what you said, if you come and teach at my school, and hey, you have a place, or we'll show you around.
That's so awesome.
It's like one guy from Israel. He teaches in those that very traditional Jewish district or whatnot.
Okay.
And then he was just telling me, I got certified to be a tour guide. I still have that certification. I'd be happy to take it.
So cool. Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, someday, dude. Someday I'll get there. Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So who would when you and your wife, since you both know jiu-jitsu, do you ever spar with each other?
We do a little bit when we can.
You hold back though, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's much lighter than me. And we just kind of play around a little bit. Yeah. And
she pretty tough though. She could take out those chicks or what?
Well, she's not naturally inclined like that.
Okay.
But she can hold her own.
Okay.
She could definitely mix it up a little bit.
It probably makes you feel a little more secure too, though, knowing that she can probably defend herself if she needs to.
For sure, most definitely. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and then sometimes we'll be at home, and then she'll get me on a hole. It's like, or I'll get her in a technique, and she's like, oh, this is what I could do. This is what I could, and we have we purchased a home recently in Orchid, and it has a barn kind of shed that's big enough for us to like put mats and stuff.
Oh, nice!
So,
little training area there.
Yeah, we were setting it up, and now we just got to get the mats in there, and
nice.
And then.
So would that be just for you guys, or will you actually start to teach out of there?
No, it'd just be for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a little sparring dojo kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. But it's tough, to carve a little extra time, but it is fun and rewarding.
Yeah. See, my wife doesn't know any martial arts. She just carries a gun in her purse when she goes, no. Just kidding. She doesn't carry a gun. Yeah. She does carry a taser, though.
Oh, nice.
And she forgot it was in her purse one time that we went to Disneyland.
Oh, my gosh.
And then we get to the security, and
they're like, oh, you can't bring this.
What's this?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe. So I had to walk all the way back to the car, put it away. Oh, yeah. So that's our running joke now whenever we go places like that. I say, did you remember to take your taser out and put it, leave it in the car or whatever,
Yeah. For sure.
All right, cool. All right, let's jump back into some music.
Yeah.
So what's the earliest memory you have of
music? Oh, gosh.
Of like just thinking to yourself, this is where it's at, right?
I don't know if it was where it was at, but
yeah.
A faint memory I have of me being in Nicaragua. I was probably like maybe 3 or 4.
Oh, wow. Is that because of the military? Your dad was in the military?
My dad was in the military.
But that's not why you were in Nicaragua?
No, both my parents are from there. Okay. I was born there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I may not look like a typical Nicaraguan,
Well, what's the primary language there?
It's Spanish, and then on the east side, English a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of the few countries that was colonized by the Spanish and the English.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you left there?
I was about 5.5.
Okay.
But going back to that story of music, I remember Olivia Newton-John.
Okay.
This one song, it was called Magic. Mm-hmm. And I remember my mom holding me, and that song was like an early memory of just feeling this like a soft voice from her vocals and soothing. So to this day, every once in a while, like if I'm having like, I don't know, an odd day, I'll like find that song and I'll just plug it on like,
isn't that cool?
You know what I mean?
That's so cool that all these years later you can find a source of comfort in that.
Yeah, which is weird.
That's so awesome. That song was from a movie.
Was it? Yeah.
The movie was called Xanadu, I think.
Xanadu, okay, yeah.
And she starred in it, and then she did most of the soundtrack, I believe.
And, I've listened to some of her stuff, but that one song, Magic, for sure.
That's cool,
and I remember years back that I think Target was doing some ad and they had that song playing. I'm like, oh, there's that song. But an early memory of like something that was very soothing, very like, and even to this day, I love female vocalists.
Yeah.
Like, I love some tracks that, and it could even be across music genres that I don't,
sure.
and that.
You know what I love? I love when a band has a female and a male vocalist.
Oh,
and they both share lead duties, especially in the same song.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing ever.
For sure. A band that it's an old band, is ABBA. Every once in a while I like listening to some of the vocals because just the harmony of the two ladies.
Right.
Did you
Did you see the movie, the Mamma Mia movie?
I tried. I couldn't get into it. It was like, man, I can't watch this,
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I'm not usually a musical kind of guy when it comes to movies.
I couldn't get into it.
But I enjoyed it. The only part I didn't like was I didn't like Meryl Streep and her two friends. They bugged me big time. And I know for a lot of people that's their favorite part. That's why when the Mamma Mia 2 came out, the whole movie was about those three things. And I was like, I can't even watch the second one. Yeah. But, I don't know. But I thought it was all right. Yeah. My wife's into musicals, so there's been a few that I enjoy, but that's fun.
Yeah.
So then walk me through like early childhood, going into high school and stuff. What kind of music you into in high school?
Oh man, it was kind of an odd time. I like a little bit of Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay.
I wasn't a huge fan. I liked a couple of their songs. I liked kind of more indie. And that's another kind of genre I like, too.
Okay.
Aside from EDM, I like indie music.
Okay.
So there's some indie artists I enjoyed. I don't know if they would be indie now, but I enjoyed Radiohead.
Oh, yeah.
Back then.
Good
A
stuff.
little bit of Weezer.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed music that wasn't your top 40 music. That wasn't your standard stuff in the radio, like Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Right.
And then there was this one station that I would tune into that would play some of the old new wave music from the 80s and early 90s. So I was like, oh, this is cool, you know?
Yeah.
And then I would just like get my little tape and record.
Hit record, yeah. That's how we used to do it back then.
Yeah.
Before the digital age. Online.
Yeah. What was the question?
Just kind of like what kind of music you listened through going through high school.
Oh, yeah. So listen to that. Another band which is really way off is a little more my Spanish roots would be the Gypsy Kings. Okay. Flamenco. I love listening to flamenco.
I do too. That sound of the guitar and stuff is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes. Yeah, I don't know if it's ancestral little
might be
tug. Who knows
might
what?
Be. Yeah.
And they came up with a couple albums around the time I was in high school, and I think they were touring the U.S. I know they stopped by Santa Barbara at one point, but
did you see them live?
I didn't get to see them live. Yeah, I wish.
Bucket list.
I love that kind of music.
Okay.
There's a few Spanish artists I like too. I can't think of their name off the top of my head. Okay. So
cool,
this is kind of stuff I was listening to. Depeche Mode was a big one.
Yeah.
I used to listen to a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
And then I remember this one girl in high school that said, hey, she had this like little postcard kind of thing. So like, hey, do you like music? Do you like, hey, sign up for this and then I get another 3 free. It was a BMG.
Oh, yeah.
Mail-in.
4,000 CDs for a penny.
Yes. That whole gimmick. I heard they got sued over that.
Probably,
and a lot of people didn't have to pay back the stuff. And there was like some kind of membership. You get 5 free for shipping costs. Yeah. And then after that, they give you one each month, or you can opt out.
You have to buy one each month for $50 or something. Like
maybe
you get 100 CDs for a penny, and then you have to buy a CD every month for the next 12 years, and that one CD you buy costs you like $30. So like in the long run, you're like, but nobody was doing that. Everybody's like, all right, give me the 50 CDs for a penny, and then I'm never talking to you ever again. It was all through the mail back then. It wasn't like they had any way to really contact you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so I remember getting, sample stuff.
You remember any of the CDs you got through that?
I remember getting like a Christian. She was a Christian artist, Plum.
Oh yeah,
and I enjoyed her music.
Plum,
it was a little different.
Yep.
It was almost like. Who's that one artist that Sarah McLachlan? Okay, yeah. I remember getting one of her early albums at the time before she got kind of weird, But and then so that was kind of cool. Okay, kind of keeping up with some music that way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I used to listen to some Spanish shows where they would have like. Variety of different artists from around the world. They were kind of like an MTV, but like in Spanish.
Okay, that's cool. What are some of the only? I know a few Spanish groups. I like Manon. I know
Manon was good. They were like the U2 version of like.
I used to love that stuff. I had no idea what they were saying, but it was good stuff.
I can't think of any others off the top. There was this one girl. Her name was Faye, and she kind of had a pop like. Kind of techno-y sound. I liked her music.
That was her whole name was Faye?
Yeah.
Kind of like Faye. Selena or Bono or Madonna.
Yeah, she was like she was this blonde Mexican girl. I remember having kind of a crush on her. I think she was from Mexico City. And she had a few albums and
Nice, man.
Yeah. But anyways,
You never got a date with her though?
Unfortunately.
Never happened.
Okay. Never happened.
Bummer, man. All right, if you could give me if you were to pick like your 5 to maybe top 5 of all time favorite bands, artists.
Okay, I'd have to say.
Yeah, it can be some we've already talked about too.
Yeah, I think I wrote it down here.
Oh, perfect.
Let me see if
You came prepared.
Somewhat. I have to say, The Cure, Depeche Mode.
Ooh, The Cure, you didn't mention them yet.
Yeah, I enjoy
Nice.
The Cure. This obscure band, I mean, they're kind of. They had a couple hits in the U.S. I like the Pet Shop Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a cool sound. I don't know about it now, but they were one of my old favorites.
Yeah. Well, so far these all kind of fit into
Erasure.
What you said,
Erasure was one.
Erasure, yeah.
Yeah, and then the fifth one. Man, this is just off the top of my head. Stuff that I would just like pop on if I was going on a long road trip.
Yeah.
I like this German guy, Ben Bomer. He does like an EDM kind of mix stuff, so he's pretty good. I enjoy.
Bomer?
Bohmer.
Oh, it's
and Ben Bomer. Yeah.
Gotcha. Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's a little more newer.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and then another group that I enjoy is Dead Mouse. they do a lot of stuff.
Dead Mouse?
Dead Mouse, yeah.
I've heard of Modest Mouse, but not Dead Mouse.
Dead Mouse, yeah.
Dead Mouse, okay.
It's EDM.
Okay.
And a little bit hard techno. They kind of... And they do a bunch of collaborations with other artists as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, and the last thing I want to know if there's any bands or artists you can't stand.
That I can't stand.
Like, what do you hate musically? Like, what do you hear and it's like, turn that crap off, that's terrible.
Oh, man. Man, that's tough. Don't want to alienate half your audience more than that. No. I'd have to say... like country music. I'm not a big fan. Some of it I can listen to.
Okay. Some of it
if it's ranchero music, I can't stand ranchero music.
Okay. That's like Mexican country?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. What else? I don't enjoy I enjoy some jazz, but when it's like they're just making up lyrics as they go, that like impromptu kind, I can't stand.
Like scat.
Yeah, and I think that's about it.
Okay.
Off the cuff.
Yeah, jazz is something I was never really able to. But people that are into jazz, they are into jazz.
Yeah.
Like, this is the greatest music, and they start talking about every form of music came out of this somehow. I'm like, all that may be true, but like just to sit down and put on a jazz record, I'm like, I just can't even. I'm like, this should be in an elevator only. That's where that should be played. You know?
Another type of music is 40s music. Because my dad was so much older. He was from that generation.
Okay.
The greatest generation, as they call it.
Yeah.
And so I like, even now when I'm on, I have Sirius XM. Okay. I'll tune in every once in a while to the 40s station.
Oh, okay.
And I enjoy listening to some of that.
Interesting.
Because I grew up.
What kind of music would that even be? Like
big
Glenn
band kind of stuff? Big band, Glenn Miller, and gosh, I can't think. Artie Shaw, love Artie Shaw. I love his music.
Okay.
So, yeah,
cool,
it's
man.
Influence from my dad's.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Yeah. A few here off the. I just looked up Depeche Mode. I enjoy. Was it Personal Jesus was a really good song, Reach Out and Touch Faith, really enjoyed that song, really poppy, and it even had a pretty good message. And then another one was Never Let Me Down Again.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
That's all.
Walking in My Shoes is another pretty amazing song that they did later in the 90s.
Yeah. I think they still put out music, I believe.
Yeah, they just came out with an album about a year ago, and really nice songs called Ghost Again.
Okay.
That's
so you heard
really
the new
good
one?
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts?
Of that new song?
Oh, just that new album, yeah. Compared to the older 80s stuff.
It was okay, I mean, back in the days, they would have like 3 or 4 just banger hits. You know,
Yeah,
now
right.
it's like 1, 2, maybe. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty old now. You know what I mean?
I always admire people that can still do it after all those years, but most of the time, it's the quality is nowhere near it.
I think one of their keyboardists, mixer guys, I guess, passed away.
Oh, really?
And I think that's some of that. That song has to do Ghost again, like lamentations of hey, we're all headed the same direction. Eventually, we'll be gone.
Yeah.
And how they're dealing with that, the coping loss. And,
Yeah.
You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. You ready to jump into some politics?
Sure. Yeah. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that you're more right leaning. Would you call yourself all the way on the right, like mid right, or you pretty? I mean, do you pretty much agree with most of the conservative?
I would say I
points?
would be more mid right.
Okay.
You know, I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself a MAGA.
Okay.
You know, or by any means, but but you know, and it could have been also from my upbringing, traditional family upbringing.
Yeah.
When we came to the United States, it was the Reagan years. My dad was very pro Reagan.
Okay.
And my dad was able to arrive on political asylum.
Oh, okay.
And then 2 years later, he was able to get visas for us and then get us out
nice.
of the country.
Okay.
And then once it turned communist. So
yeah.
It was very. I kind of grew up in that environment. I remember, Scholastic Book Fair and getting a book about presidents, and there was Reagan.
Yeah.
And a picture of him in the Oval Office on his desk, like he's working on something.
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing that picture, like, wow, he is running the country. You know, in my little 5-6-year-old mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to. That is like, and then my dad was like, yeah, that's like the highest office you can get.
Yeah.
That's the most admirable
Did that
position.
inspire you? We were like, someday.
And that inspired me to be a leader in a sense, not maybe a president by any means, but just to have the weight of so many things on your shoulders and having a collective, like, hey, I have order, structure.
Yeah.
I'm in charge here, doing the right thing, you know?
Right.
And
So
that
what
really resonated to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you stuck with it as an
I stuck with it, and then I knew he was. Then later on, I realized, oh, he's part of the Republican Party. Oh, they're more for this.
Right.
And I was starting to see patterns of like, okay, they're more for family, traditional values,
right,
less heavy on government regulation, and I really and then as I got older, I started seeing Democrats being a little bit more almost like global in a sense, less about the fabric of our nation, and then it's and that was like, wow, that's a big turnoff to me. I love this country.
Right.
I don't want it to be,
Do you see that as a pattern, like now, especially? Do you feel like more people that are on the right tend to love the country, while I shouldn't say most, but just generally speaking, that people on the left tend to have kind of more of a hatred and animosity towards our country and its founding, to where people on the right are more like, oh, we love our country.
Yeah, they do, and I've noticed that over the years, just personally, just being an observer, that there's almost like this animosity. What is the word? I can't.
I think it's animosity.
Yes. Kind of against the U.S. for all how it was founded, where it came to be.
Founding fathers suck. Tear down the statues. It's all a big
the
Columbus
whole
was a murderer.
Columbus was. Screw Columbus. He brought in all the diseases, and all that, and erasing. Even being offended of the U.S. flag being flown and things like that, and it's almost like this. It almost seems like back during the '60s and '70s, a lot of these anti-government hippies were in college and then they got into academia, and then now they're the leaders and they're pushing this stuff on these young kids.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
These
like in colleges,
subtle, like communist kind of, leaning of hate America, hate for what it stands, tear this down, start something. And it's like, what are you going to start?
What are you going to start? See, that's the question.
What is this utopia of this nation that is no borders, doesn't have an identity, and it's like, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna call it Chad?
Right.
They tried to do that.
In Seattle.
Few years, Seattle, and like
it was Chaz, then it was
Chaz or
Chop. I think it was Chop after that. What did it stand for?
Yeah, and
Chaz was something zone.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot what it stood for, but yeah.
So yeah, it's a stark contrast for when I went to school, and then I see these younger, I hate to call them kids, but 20s and 30-year-olds, that are
those
that
are kids
coming
to old
up.
guys like us.
Yeah, and then just seeing, just seeing that kind of shift.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad because the history that they are learning or being preached in the public schools is very skewed. Mm-hmm. And I mean, for instance, Columbus. I mean, I remember it being a very a huge honor of to the Italian people. Right. Hey, he's originally Italian,
right?
And hey, this is a way to like incorporate the Italians. Say, hey, he was the first to discover. I mean, he may not have technically been the first. You think
right.
I've heard of people, Vikings coming into Iceland and coming and making contact or whatnot.
Yeah,
but that's beside the point. But to like put him like, oh, he brought all the diseases and he wiped out the Indian nations and things like that. It's
Do you think that's all lies, or do you think there's some truth to that?
I think it was just consequences of the timelines.
Right.
Indians not being exposed to the various smallpox, chickenpox that Europe was during the Dark Ages and during the Black Plague and things like that.
Yeah.
But then when you look at the Indian populations and the various ones from North America to South America, they were fighting amongst themselves. There wasn't this unified front, Oftentimes one tribe will take another civilization will take another. They would take slaves from one another.
Always been that way. Since day one. Yes.
Yeah, so you have all this happening, and then to say that, hey, not to say that this when the Spanish came in, there probably in some cases wasn't oversight among some of those governors, and they like for instance in where it's Haiti and Cuba today, they enslaved some of the populations for mining gold and so forth, and a lot of them got wiped out from the diseases, and then they brought in slaves from Africa, and so forth.
So why do you think it's presented most of the time that only white guys and enslaved only black people, and that was the only form of slavery that our world has ever seen ever? Like, you talk to most 20-somethings, they believe that.
Yes, they do.
They don't believe slavery ever existed until Americans started shipping Africans over and using them as slaves in America. That's the only form of slavery they know of.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, we're being told that we're the ones that are twisting history and making it and taking stuff out. It's like, whoa. Yeah.
And even in Africa, they were having their own slaves and selling them to the Portuguese or whatever.
Yes. It doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right.
I'm just saying it wasn't just one group doing it. And we need to come to terms with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I always, it's you can't necessarily blame Columbus. He was just a clog in the system of the empire that was shifting. Right. And they were trying to make new trade routes because of the Ottomans had shut things down on the east from trade, and they were. But aside from the point, there definitely needs to be more of a balanced history out there, especially in public schools. And I think with the advent of the YouTube space and other independent networks, I think those stories are starting to slowly come to light.
Right.
Where now people are like, oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, I didn't know these Indians were enslaving other Indians, and then these other ones, for instance, the Aztecs were starting wars with other tribes just for ritual sacrifice.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of the argument, right? On the other side is they'll say, yeah, it wasn't like those things were good, and it's not necessarily that when Europeans came in and conquered and took over the Americas and colonized and all that kind of stuff. Nobody's trying to say like that there was no bad in that. There was obviously some evils committed.
For sure,
in there. But in the argument from their side anyway is in the long run, we made a more civilized country than what was happening before. It was more barbaric, and that's what I'm saying. But like, there's so much of the time they always present it like all of the Native Americans in America, all of them were just these peace-loving people that just were they're making dolls out of corn husks and they're fishing in the river, and then these Europeans came over with their weapons and just started slaughtering everybody, and then took over and was raping their women and killing their children, and like it's like it's just not the right story, you know what I mean? And if young people are being fed that, you could see why when they're in their 20s, they're like, oh, screw America. America's founded on a bunch of murder and slavery and
lies.
Evil and lies. And and it's like all this stuff. Of course they hate it then. I wouldn't want to, if that's really the way it happened, I wouldn't feel comfortable standing on the soil going, God bless America. Like, really? God bless America?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, so.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
But that's
I'd have
why.
To say with my, when I joined the Army.
Was that right out of high school, by the way?
No, I joined late. I joined at 34.
Oh, wow.
So I was kind of a late comer.
What would you do that for, man?
Yeah. Why the heck did I?
You just woke up one morning and says, you know what? I think it's time.
I think it was, and where I was going with that was, when I got out, it gave me, and I deployed to Afghanistan and I came back in one piece. It gave me more of an appreciation for the country in general, and then, and it just kind of made me sad just seeing this stark contrast of some of the younger generations coming up, just really hating on the country, in a sense, and waving the flags of their former,
Yeah, how do you feel about that, man?
Break
that down for me. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, that kind of it sometimes bugs me. Sometimes it's like, okay, it's cool to have your ancestral, pride a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, keep your culture intact. Bring with you all that, for sure.
But in some of these protests I've seen in the last year, so they're waving, either the Mexican flag or some other country, Latin American country. Yeah. I mean, shoot, I even saw the Nicaraguan being waved by somebody. Yeah.
Were you like, represent?
And then it's like, wow, if you're so prideful about your country like that, it's okay to have that, but it's like, if you love it that much that you're stopping traffic because maybe the ICE whole thing, and that's polarizing, but I get it. Yeah. And you're hating on the country, then it's like, why don't you go ahead and return? And see how that.
Why are you risking your life to get over here? Right. If you hate it so much and you love your country so much.
Right.
That's the part that
exactly.
I don't understand.
Yeah. And then if you love it so much, then go back to that country. Right. If you hate America so much, go and see how it works out for you. Right. It's going to be.
Well, yeah, and it's sad though, because I think that those kind of people that would have that attitude, I believe, are the minority.
Right.
I think most people that come from other countries where it's not good living, and they're very grateful to be here.
Right.
Like they're literally risking their lives sometimes to get their families over here. And I get it. Yeah. I mean, I put myself as a dad in the shoes of some of these families. Like, they're living in places where there's major persecution, or the government's corrupt, or you can't go outside your house without worrying about getting shot up by somebody. It's like, I get it. Yeah. I would probably do anything in my power to get out of there too.
Right. Yeah.
but then we get into the whole like illegal versus legal way to do things, right?
Right.
So I mean that's where you're coming in, and that's why I don't like when people are like, oh, Trump's against immigrants, doesn't like immigrants. No, he's got no problem with immigrants. His wife's an immigrant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And really, we're all immigrants if you think about it. Unless you're Native American, you're an immigrant. Like, all our families came here at some point from other countries,
Right, yeah.
It's the illegal immigration that's the problem, not the immigration. America's always been about immigration,
Right, yeah,
so,
for sure. That's
I
what
mean,
the nation was founded upon, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's very sickening just because they're using people's situation where they're trying to come in here, and it seems like it's being injected in a way where there's powers that be that are getting these caravans organized to make it across, and these political leaders are infusing them and putting them just to change the voting demographic to the point where during the Biden administration, they were even flying illegals to different parts of the country, just to influx those areas. Yeah. And they're using them. They're using them as, just fodder, human fodder. It's really sad.
Well, the fact that I mean, it's an unpopular opinion, but the fact that if you're not even a legal citizen, the fact that you're still able to vote is what blows my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if they're bringing them over to vote.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. How were you able to vote?
Right.
I couldn't go to Nicaragua and vote in their elections.
Right.
They'd say, no, man, you're a white boy from America. You're not voting in our election. And totally justified.
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't let me vote in your elections.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
And then the same thing with being born, if your parents are illegals and then your child is born, it's automatic citizenship.
Birthright citizenship.
You go to any other country, they don't do that.
Right. Do you think we should get rid of that? Because Trump's talked about getting rid of that.
I have mixed feelings about it. If they came and they're actively trying to become citizens, I grant that child. But if I don't know, that's a tough one.
Right.
Part of me says no. Part of me says no. I think it's okay. But if you're going into the country illegal just to shoot out a kid because that's your anchor to stay in the country, then I think it's wrong.
For sure. Yeah. And I think that's the whole thing. Like, if they were coming in and assimilation was a big part of it, right? Like, if people are coming across, I don't care from what country, I don't care if it's Russia from the north or it's Mexico from the south, and they're coming in and saying, look, we want to live in America because it would make a better life for our children, and we will assimilate into your country where we become Americans. Right? And again, I'm not saying just abandon your whole culture. No, keep your culture, keep your tradition, keep all that.
Right.
But become an American. Don't become a Russian living in America, right? Become an American, assimilate. Don't come over and learn our culture, learn our language, learn how to assimilate and to function within an American society. Now, for all the people that are doing that, I think for most of us, we'd be like, great.
Yeah.
Yes, let's develop a new process, because the process is too slow and it takes too long. Let's reform the whole legal immigration process to get these people processed and citizens faster.
Right.
Those kind of people.
Yeah.
Not the people that are going to come over here waving flags from the country they came from and saying, let's make this like our country we came from.
Right.
No, don't come to America and try to make it like the country you came from. Yeah. If you like the country you came from, just stay there.
Right.
Right? Yeah. That's the whole thing. Don't come turn our country into the country that you left because you don't like it.
Right.
Right? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And some of the complaints from people like in places like Minnesota right now, right? With I think it's Minnesota, with the big Somali population and trying to basically turn it into Somalia. It's just like, no, it's not. This is America. It's not Somalia. Yes, come over from Somalia. Great, we welcome you. But become an American, of Somali heritage. So I don't know, dude.
Yeah, one thing, when I was in Brazil, the tour guide was telling us that's one thing that is, when he was living in the U.S. for 6 years, he was saying, as a truck driver, he was saying that people, like when he was living in New York, he was saying, yeah, it's a melting pot, blah, blah, blah. And to him, it wasn't a melting pot. He goes, no, I mean, there's people from all countries. But just nobody mixed it, like in Brazil. He said in Brazil, people have come from so many different countries. At one point, it was the most highly sought after passport because anybody could pass as Brazilian.
Interesting,
And he was saying that, whatever country they came from, maybe it was Italy or, for instance, or any other nation. Mm-hmm. They would still have their little subgroups, but it was very much an assimilation of becoming part of the culture, right. Brazilian culture and so forth.
That's cool.
And so much that he was even seeing nobody cared, that famous genetic 23andMe, they wouldn't sell here in Brazil. No. Nobody cares, everyone's fine just mixing it up with people,
I don't believe that anyway. Some of my family members have done that, and some weird stuff has come back. Like, no
really?
Way. Like my dad found out he had African
sub-Saharan.
And I'm like, maybe that's why I love hip hop. No.
2%.
But it's like, I forgot what the percentage was, but like my whole life, my mom's side is Italian. Mm-hmm. My great-grandmother came from Sicily, right? Like the whole thing, she came over on the boat into New York and all that stuff. And my whole life I thought that. And my mom did the 23andMe or whatever the other one was. I think it was actually the other one. Uh-huh. But she finds out that she's only a little bit Italian and mostly Greek. Now, I understand Greece and Italy are close by each other.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But, I guess that would have to mean my great-grandmother was born in Sicily to maybe Greek parents that she just assumed were Italian because they lived in Sicily. I don't know the whole story. That was a million years ago. But it's just, and it could be true. I don't know. But part of me is like, really? Our whole life we thought Italian, you got the last name Correo, Romano. These are Italian names. But we're Greek?
Yeah.
Really? So, I don't know.
Changing the identity, maybe adopting.
It could be, right? Because there was a lot of that going on. So it's very possible. But it just seems weird to me. I don't know how much I buy it. I don't know. I'm not fully over that fence yet. So, yes, I stand 23andMe 100% accurate all the way,
They say that all that stuff is still in its infancy, I guess. So maybe with time things will be a little better. Who knows?
If we're around that long, I don't know.
Exactly.
Things are getting pretty nutso lately.
Yeah.
So, like, what are some reasons why you lean right and not left? Like, other than some of the stuff we just talked about, is there any other thing you think, like, man, on the left they believe this, and there's no way I'm going that way?
I think probably because I don't want any massive radical changes in my lifestyle and my environment, and
that's the conservative part.
That's the conservative
conserve
part.
What we started with.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Keep the status quo. I think that's really why I still kind of lean that direction.
Okay.
Like when you're in the Army, you just get tired of the BS, of little things, and you sift through it quickly when you're in the military. And then when you get out, you kind of see that through those lens of, you see the major hypocrisy and just stupidity. I always thought when I was a kid, like, the highest, smartest people are political leaders.
Right.
And now that I'm like almost 50, I'm like, no, that's not true. Sometimes they're handed that opportunity. Maybe they have family members that own vineyards, like in Gavin Newsom's situation, that I cannot stand that guy. I mean,
right. Well, I had somebody on one time that said it like this, and it really blew my mind, because they were like, and it's so simple and makes sense, but I never really thought about it this way. And I want to say it was when it was going to be Trump and Biden going against each other. This was before Biden dropped out and Kamala Harris came out. And his whole point was, he's like, man, I'm looking at
these two candidates. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, in our big old country with all these people, we have some brilliant people in our country. Yeah. Like he said, you go on YouTube, watch TED Talks. You listen to these just brilliant young people that just have amazing ideas and all this kind of stuff. Right. And we're going to vote, and these are our two options. Two geriatric old men who just have all kinds of issues. Like it's like, and we're always being forced to choose between the lesser of two evils.
Pretty much.
Can we ever just vote once, just one time vote and say, I'm voting for this guy because he's awesome. Yeah. Man, this guy is great. He's going to do amazing things. No, it's always like, well, he's better than that guy. Yeah. I definitely don't want that guy. So if this is my only alternative, okay. Yeah. You know, that's kind of what we've been doing for the last 20 to 30 years, it seems like.
Yeah, or they've been career politicians for all their lives. And then now, or...
Which is why we have them, and that's part of the problem. Yeah. Because people from TED Talks aren't going to be... even in the government enough to be running for president, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah, I mean, for sure, definitely. I think with the situation, I think Trump has been the better choice. I mean, he's
compared to Kamala Harris, for sure.
Oh yeah, even Biden for that matter. I
think my dog would have been a better choice than Kamala Harris.
Yeah, for sure.
And she's deaf.
Yeah, yeah. But anyone that has a strong business mindset,
right?
You know, that has run several companies, has been within that genre, has been working even in international situations. If they're able to put themselves with some good leaders as advisors, I think they could do a really good job running the country. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what was so promising when Trump came in this second term.
Right.
Like, when he was talking about his cabinet...
Oh yeah,
dude! Yeah. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh! You got RFK Jr. on the getting rid of Big Pharma and all that stuff, and you got all these. You got the guy that was going to be doing, or he still is, I guess, the border security and all. And it sounded so good,
right?
And I'm not saying it's all bad, but it just seems like things are going so differently than I thought they were going to be going. Yeah. You know, I don't know.
At first, I thought it was like the dream team,
right?
In a sense,
exactly. You know, and in some ways it is. Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like. It's like when a school, or let's say a job. It's like, let's say we all work at Walmart, let's say. And for the last, 15, 20 years, Bob has been the manager of Walmart. And we all love Bob because Bob doesn't care about the rules. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care if we follow. He lets us show up late. He lets us take 2-hour lunches and get paid for it. Like all this stuff. We love Bob's great. Yeah. Man, Bob's awesome. Well, then Bob dies. Yeah. And then John comes in to be the new manager. But John's all about the book. He's like, look, you guys get exactly an hour for lunch. You better show up on time. 3 strikes, you're fired. You're out. Like all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah. And now the employees hate John. Yeah. John sucks. This is terrible. Where's Bob? I wish Bob wouldn't have died. He was so great, right? Yeah. And that's kind of what I see happening in the country. Because we're so used to presidents and governors and leaders that are just saying, whatever, whatever. Yeah. So to when Trump comes in and starts doing things, like enforcing as harsh as he is, everybody's like, oh my gosh. Are you kidding? He's like rounding people up and deporting them out of the country? Yeah. Are you crazy? Like, it's like, it seems so crazy. But if you just break it down to the bare bones, it's like, well, no, he's following the law.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Laws were put in place for a reason.
Yes, right. But we've gotten so used to them being so lenient on all the laws.
Yeah.
And I'm a big proponent. Like, if you want to change the law, change the law. Fine. You want to have open borders? Let's have open borders. Yeah. But make it a legal thing. America's now open borders. Everybody come on over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then there's nothing. No laws being broken. Everything's fine. Of course, we'll be overpopulated and then we'll eventually die out. But hey,
I mean,
it'll be fun while it lasts
for everyone. Yeah.
Right.
In the long run.
Yeah. So anyway, but I don't know. It's so hard because you see the conflicting views and stuff like even with the whole ICE thing, right? You look at the right leaning news. And it's all about like, oh no, they're very peaceful, and they're they're looking at the felons first and the criminal records, and they're sending them back. Yeah. And then you look at the stuff on the left, and it's showing them 3 guys tackling an 80-year-old woman in the middle of the street and handcuffing her, shoving her face into the dirt, and also it's like, what is like? Yeah. What's right? What's true? Right. Mm-hmm. Right? Because that's the issue. Because most Americans, if we're looking at that and we say, oh no, that is just a peaceful old lady just standing there doing nothing, and these cops tackle her, most of America's like, wrong. Don't ever do that. Wrong.
Yeah.
But the problem is most of us like, I mean, at least people on the right, like, is that really what happened? Is that the whole story?
Yeah.
Is that really, you're giving us a 30-second clip, is that all that happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I've learned to look for the whole clip, the whole video, because there's so many times where it's like, oh, did you see this video of this cop just beating the crap out of this guy in the middle of the street?
Yeah.
Oh, it's police brutality. It's terrible. It's racism. All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then like months later, the whole video comes out, and you see that the guy was running at him with a gun or something, right? That part you don't see when you just see the clip of the beating.
Yeah,
you know?
mouthing off, spitting at
something.
the
Yes,
guy beforehand.
You have to have the full picture before you can make an assessment of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all cops are good, or that there's no corrupt cops, or that cops always act the right way.
Yeah,
they don't. But when you show videos like that to all of America, and you make America think that all the cops are going around just beating people up for no reason, that puts fear and hatred of cops in people. Like, you know, understandandably.
Yeah.
But anyway,
most definitely. Yeah.
I know I just went like 5-7 different ways, but yeah. So what's kind of your assessment of Trump right now? Maybe this. Compare second term to first term Trump. What do you think?
I think he's getting more things done.
Okay.
I think he was so hindered by all the impeach Trump lawsuits that they were hitting on, that Russian collusion thing.
Right.
I think it was really slowing his efforts, overall.
Yeah.
I think he's gotten better people around him that are assisting. But it's tough. He only has what is it, 3 more years?
Well, a little more than, but yeah.
Yeah, and then now what? After that,
See, that's the question, right?
And that's the question: is who's the vice president?
J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance. He may try to run. I don't know, but I don't know if he can carry the same charisma.
Yeah.
That Trump has. So it's a little concerning, and it sounds like, I guess, Gavin's going to be trying to go for it.
Right.
Sounds to me like they're going to be pushing him.
Yeah.
So it's.
And do you think AOC will be his VP?
I could see that happening.
That's my guess.
I could totally see that happening.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of charisma herself.
Oh,
and,
sure. Oh, yeah.
She's got a youthful,
and she's
demeanor.
A woman.
She's a woman,
which is something
can be relatable to a lot of the younger Gen Zs and so forth. So it's tough. Is the country steering in a better direction? I believe it is under the current leadership.
Right.
It ain't perfect.
No. Well, never will be.
And we'll see what happens globally as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Prop 50?
I'm not. Yeah, I think it's a waste. I think basically they're trying to carve like stonewall the state of having so many electorates going towards the Democratic Party for the next election.
Right.
And I think that's where it was motivated.
Yeah.
Of course, they were upset that Texas had done some shifting around themselves, representing the population, which made sense there. And then I think it was stupid. I mean, I know there's a voter ID lawsuit going on right now against Newsom, but who knows if that's going to even do anything, Right. And so it's sad because it's like a lot of people are leaving California, and that's probably why Newsom's been so big on open borders, getting as many new illegals to replace the people that have left.
Right. Which, again, that shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Exactly.
Right, but that tells you that they know something. That, we can get these guys legal to vote.
Right. Yeah.
What?
Not showing voter IDs.
Right.
Not required.
Right.
And so
right.
When they do, eventually, I hope they make it into a law where it's required amongst all 50 states, and that might kind of deter from that. But then you never know; they may try to make it easier for the illegals to be able to get citizenship and get that right to vote right away.
Right.
But aside from that, it is sad. Yeah, because it's like, I don't know. I even seen it here in Santa Maria. When we first came, it was in 1993. Mm-hmm. It was really different. Very agricultural, kind of ranchy kind of life looking, you know. And there's the suburbs, and then it's like you had past Blosser, it was like Little Mexico there. Now it's just all over. Now it's a lot of people that were living there for many years have moved out. And then the influx of the housing system, the bureaucracy of not allowing land to be open for building has made everything so this has made the city ugly, you know, the cars everywhere, you know, multiple families living in one home because they can't afford because of those constraints, you know. I mean, it's I don't know what to say, you know.
I mean, like, so what if you had the power and the financial resources and just the sky's the limit, basically. And you were put in charge to fix one thing in our country, what would you start with?
That's a good one. One thing in our country to fix. I would say the education.
Okay, like public education?
Public education.
Okay, and what would you change?
I would allow for more opportunities for families to have different academies that they can take their kids to. More independent funding for various other
like charter schools.
Charter schools for sure, to give people option, which would hopefully make the public schools want to compete. Like, hey, we want to make our vibe better too. We want to improve. Really vetting the teachers, you know, if they're leaning and very like skewed, like far left, you know, to the point where it's like, hey, this could become a liability, you know. I feel like a better vetting option needs to... It's something where it's more even-keeled. Like, it's okay to have somebody leaning towards the left, leaning towards the right, somewhere in the middle. Yeah. But if they're far, like, pro-communist, pro-socialism, Marxist ideology, you know, or even racial, where it's like, hey, we only care about this particular group, or this group requires reparations. This is where I lean, you know? There needs to be a better balance.
See, I would say I'm fine with them having those views. But stop bringing them into the classroom. Like, I'm fine even if you're a far leaning leftist, like socialist, whatever. And on your weekends you want to go out protesting and all that stuff in the streets.
For sure.
Hey, I'm all for that. But stop teaching that in the classroom. Stop teaching ethics and morality in a public school classroom. That is not your job. It's never been your job.
Exactly.
It's the job of the parents. But their rebuttal to that is, but the parents are teaching, especially some of these right-wing parents, they're teaching them all this stuff. We got to recorrect all this old school thinking about, you know, gender and sexuality and all this stuff. And we got to reverse all that because our country is... I'm like, really? Really? You know? But I'm like, look, even if you feel that way, that's not your job to indoctrinate my children about morals. Even from the right.
That's true.
I don't even want some teacher teaching my kids that abortion is wrong and that marriage is one man and one woman. Look, even though I agree about those things... That's not your job to teach my kids that stuff. That's my job.
Leave it at the home.
Teach them English and math and science. Like, teach that stuff. And even with science, like you brought up McDaniel earlier. Right? Even that stuff. When you teach things like evolution and all that, teach that it's a theory. You know? But even then, this is kind of a side note, but when I was at Hancock, I went back to Hancock like 10 years ago, and I had to take biology, and the teacher was obviously, you know, atheistic, evolutionist, all that kind of stuff, but she taught that's a theory of evolution. But she says, but you need to understand something. A theory doesn't mean like there's just like a theory. It's like she said the theory of evolution is the same as saying the theory of gravity. I said, my hand shoots up. Wait a minute. And of course I'm the old guy in class, right? I'm like in my 30s, in other words, the kids are like straight out of high school. And I'm like, excuse me, but like, can you really call it the theory of gravity? She's like, well, you can't really prove gravity. I'm like, well, you kind of can, because if you get up in a tree and you drop an apple, it's going to go down every single time.
Yeah.
Now, if you do that and then one day it floats up, hey, you let me know, because that's a whole new thing. But her whole point was, but you don't know every time you drop it, it's not going to float up. Until you drop it every time. I said, well, then that's everything. You can't 100% prove anything then. Yeah. You can say, well, I'm 100% a male, right? Yeah. Well, how do you know that tomorrow you won't wake up as a female? Well, I'm pretty positive I won't, because it's never happened in history. Yeah, but you could. How do you know until you get to tomorrow? Right? So, I mean, that's their whole basic of logic. But I'm like, but gravity is much more provable than... I mean, if we're to put a percentage to gravity, 99%. 99.9% gravity, you're going to drop the ball, it's going to keep going down, 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 down.
It's like math. It's like...
Yes, 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Yeah. But of course, even that they try to skew down. Well, how do you know it's 4, right? Maybe it's been 5 all along. And I'm like, no, look at, count them. That's simple numbers. That's easy. Yeah. But that's what they try to do. They try to get so relative about everything. Yeah. Well, there can be no such thing as like just absolute truth in anything. It's but anyway.
It's kind of like I remember being at Hancock too, and it was a situation where it was world history class, and they were saying, and we got into like the ancient Egyptian history and stuff, and I remember the professor saying, I don't remember how he came about it, but he basically was saying, there's no evidence that the Israelites were ever enslaved and there was ever an exodus. There's no evidence whatsoever in archaeological history. Wow. And I remember a few hands going up. Like, how can you say that? Blah, blah, this, that, Right. And it made sense. Even in my young 20-year-old mind, I was like, well, wouldn't you think, this is an embarrassing event that occurred. Yeah. They lost their a huge slave population, and they suffered defeat, military defeat as well, right, from this whole this exodus, and you wouldn't want to be touting that in your hieroglyphic records. You want to erase that. That's an embarrassment. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And I've seen some interesting research where they found like a sarcophagus, like a stone, like depiction of what would have been the governor Joseph, and he's the face has just been mutilated, just like chipped, where it would have been his palace or where he would have lived. Right. Right. And then I've seen like spokes of the chariot wheels being researched and like preserved under. So there's definitely evidence for sure. Yeah.
But they would say no, the Christians came in and they planted that stuff in there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
There's always that. There's always people.
And then there have been found hieroglyphs of what they call Semitic people, which would have been the ancient Israelites, and they depicted them with different types of patterns of their clothes that was foreign for the Egyptians. And being herders, Right. But anyhow,
it's neat stuff, man. So back to the public education. So break it down for me, like specifically what you would be changing around. Like again, remember you have ultimate authority, you have all the financial support you need.
Yeah, I would just say the vetting process of leadership is what make it balanced.
And what you mean by that is like interviewing teachers, maybe not just that, because they could lie to you or whatever. Exactly. But once if they're spouting off, if they're teaching morality, they're doing that, you think they should be.
They shouldn't be considered to move on to even higher administrative roles where they're outside of the classroom, and then now they're dealing with managing curriculum and what books are are now sponsored by the public schools to be read by the students and so forth.
Well, let me throw a scenario at you though, because when they say, like, when we talk about, obviously over the last couple of years, some of the new stuff has been like, look at all these LGBTQ books and this graphic homosexual content within these books, and people are all up in arms, and of course for most of us, especially if we're talking about elementary school, I'm like, I don't care if it's hetero or homosexual, it shouldn't be in books for kids in elementary school, right?
Exactly.
They should have access to that at that young of an age. But a lot of people are fighting, saying, oh no, this graphic homosexual content, graphic homosexual this and that. And then obviously the other side comes in and says, well, if you're going to regulate that, then why... Okay, let's not go that far. Let's say there's a book that just has a gay couple in it. There's no graphic sexual anything. It's just let's say the book's about two boys who fall in love and they start a relationship. No sex, no nothing. They just love each other, and they're talking about getting married someday or whatever, right? That's the whole book. And then a certain section of the community says, no.
Yeah,
you're indoctrinating our kids with that stuff, right?
Yeah, alternate lifestyle.
Sure, but then the other side says, why should that be alternate? That shouldn't be an alternate lifestyle. And they'll say, well, if you're going to have books with heterosexual relationships that aren't sexual, just a boyfriend girlfriend kind of thing. Yeah. Why do you get to dictate that that's okay? Because what if my son's gay? And he's watching and he's reading this book about two heterosexual people. He's like, what is this? Yeah. Where's the book for me? Where's the book that I can relate to? Do you see? So when we open that door and we say, well,
it's Pandora's box.
Yeah, like who's going to police that?
Yeah.
And who gets to decide what's quote unquote right or wrong?
That is tough. Yeah, that becomes the moral decay of society infusing within common books that kids and authors and they're all about diversity of like, hey, we want an author from here, we want an author from here, and you're in library, so you experience some of that, right? And everyone has to have a specific week or month where we
display it
and show, hey, we're about this too. We're giving them their space and this and that.
Yeah,
that is tough, because it's going to seep one way or the other, Right. And
but who gets to decide which way it seeps? I guess is really the question.
That is a good question. You couldn't. I don't think you could stop that.
And that's what becomes difficult.
Yeah,
because you and I could agree on a lot of that stuff because our morals are coming from the same place.
Exactly. I would say, of course, no, that cannot be. That it's unnatural, right? But then others just say, well, why can't it not be?
Right.
We're not showing anything explicit.
Yes.
They're just two best friends that so happen to be holding hands, and they're in junior high, and they could show affection that way. What's wrong with that?
Right.
It's a story taking place in the outer Star Wars universe. You know
what
I mean? and they both have a common.
Yeah.
They have to stop the dark Sith.
Right.
They so happen to be holding hands.
That's right.
I mean, it could go so far, and it just I think it's just the moral decay. People may not agree with that, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it's something that, and that's why the family unit's so important. Is to have that family unit where you can educate your child, like, hey, you're going to be seeing this stuff, But
they'll say that's child abuse. They'll say you're abusing your children by already giving them the idea that that's unnatural.
Yeah,
and not normal. You religious bigot.
Yeah.
See, that's what they would say.
Yes,
you and your old book that was written thousands of years ago with your old school morals.
Yeah,
about your invisible man in the sky and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, that's a good argument.
Yeah.
No, it's real. It's real.
No, I know.
And it's but there has to be some separation for sure for the families to be able to, hey, this is what we believe, and so forth. And that's why there should be options to have your child go to a charter school. If this is where things are headed, there should be and out.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, we've homeschooled all of our kids. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
Our oldest did kindergarten or first grade. That was it.
Yeah.
Our second born did just kindergarten, and then the other two, and the older two, and then the younger two, all from then on did all homeschool straight through.
And then when they're 18 and they're in college, let them decide from there. And hopefully the upbringing was influential enough to solidify those solid morals. You know, and I'm very thankful for my parents. That they solidified those, because I went to public school all my life, and I got to see so many weird stuff too.
And back then it wasn't as prominent.
And it wasn't as prominent. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they were. And so and it's sad nowadays that there are so many kids being born and raised in broken homes. You know, where there's no dad and mother. Or there's just the mom or whatnot, and then and the mom's dependent on child support and I mean not just child support, but food stamps, welfare, and all that, and it makes it easier for them to just ditch the guy, you know, without really trying to work things out. And not to say that there's abusive relationships, both guy and female, out there, that you need to get out of there. If, you know,
especially if your wife knows Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
I mean, shoot, man. My wife can already beat me up without that. I don't think I'd ever want her to learn something like Jiu-Jitsu. But anyway, you were saying. You had a story out there or something.
But anyhow, for sure.
So what's the thing? Oh, the first thing I wanted to say is that if it was turned around and you asked me, if you had all the power to change anything in the whole country, it's exactly what you just said about mothers and fathers. It would be that every household had a mother and a father in the house for the entire raising of the kids. You say, well, Ryan, sometimes people die. No. I have all the power in the scenario. I would make it so that parents cannot die until their kids are all grown and out of the house. Then they all die. Then that's when that happens. But I think that is, to me, that is the number one problem in the whole country is too many fatherless homes. Too many kids being raised by just their mom or even just their dad or by nobody, just because they're latchkey kids, or the parents have to work 3 jobs each just to put food on the table, so the parents never see their kids, and they're, they're being raised by the internet and by the TV and all this kind of stuff. It's dedetrimental. It's really sad. It
is. You know, it's tough. I mean, I got to see it with my own kids. You know, unfortunately, there was an affair. The mom had an affair, and then I was trying to see if we can work it out through it, but
you still wanted to work it out after that.
I was willing to.
That is so admirable,
and it just didn't work that way. Okay. And then she was used to already being on the government programs prior to our relationship, and she knew she had a fallback. You know, if whoever the guy she was with didn't work out, there was her fallback. And
the fallback is the government.
The government, yeah, for sure. And then she really did a good job of pushing me away from the kids. You know, I remember it being, I would be trying to call them, and she'd be blocking my calls, and then just making it difficult, even during the exchanges and so forth. And
you still got visitation.
I did, but it was slowly taken away in a way that, you know, she had a pretty good lawyer, and she wasn't satisfied with the outcome of the initial divorce, and then it was post-divorce work. She had a really good attorney that was in the Franklin, Tennessee area. Okay. And so my attorney was in Nashville, so it was always like things were being swayed in that way, her way. And it sucked, you know. The laws there for fathers, the family law system in Tennessee was horrible. I know California is better.
Really?
It seems like in California there's more of the push for 50-50, Over there,
Dude,
it's like...
I would not have believed that in a million years because California seems to be so woman-centered.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like the women always seem to get more out of stuff
Tennessee
like that.
was very skewed towards the lady.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know, because maybe liberal lawmakers changed that.
Yeah.
And they had some weird formula. I mean, I was at one point paying more than half of my income towards child support. They had this funky formula where it was like the mother has so many days. Mm-hmm. Whoever has more days of the child gets more. So then, of course, she was pushing to have more days with the kids because then she got more money, obviously. So it was just a really rigged system, and
that sucks.
And it was rough for many years. And
do you think it's skewed that way though? Because like in the vast majority of cases, the dad's the deadbeat. The dad's the one who cheats. The dad's the one who doesn't want the responsibility of being a father. I mean, it seems like in the vast majority of cases, that's more likely. So maybe that's why the system is like, okay, we're gonna they favor the women more.
Maybe they did some formula where it was because of that. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe at one point, and then it just got voted in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was some miserable years. Yeah, and.
Could you ever go for years without seeing them?
No. It was just, the economy crashed around 2008. And then my child support commitment went up. And she was pushing for that. And crazy. And anyways... So then I had gotten laid off with the YMCA because they were doing a lot of shifting around, and then I went into the insurance, tried to go New York Life, sell life insurance.
Oh yeah,
I had some success a little bit. Some amazing stories where I cold called a waste plant treatment center, and I caught the CEO by chance on the phone. And he agreed to appointment. I had this managing partner help me out with the appointment.
Were you nervous?
I was nervous. Yeah. All suited up. And then he said something to the guy where like, well, are you okay giving most of your taxes to the government? Like, no, I'm not. So, well, hey, if you don't do this, X, Y, Z, and then so it turned out he had his ex-wife still on his life insurance. He became his partner passed away, and he was the sole, CEO of that company. And then so he purchased. I remember it was like a $7 million life insurance policy for me, and I remember it being like, wow, like it took a while for it to land, and then it set me up for like 6 months.
Wow. Let's say, did you get like 20% commission on that, or what?
I don't exactly remember.
Pocket a couple mil out of that deal.
It was quite a bit, that I was able to survive. You know? It was a feast or famine kind of like a industry. You know? I didn't go the financial planner route. There was that extra schooling you had to do, and I was thinking about it, but then things were just so volatile, tough, and then then I had gotten remarried, and then that was still difficult during that time. Okay, and then things weren't consistent with the life insurance. Then I even tried Allstate, and then finally that's where the Army came. They were looking for more,
They're looking for old guys.
Well, whoever they not necessarily old guys, but
older than 17 and 18.
Right. It was during the time where the Iraqi and Afghani war was still happening, so they were needing manpower. Yeah, and they were giving cash bonuses if you had a college degree. Yeah, and then so I was like, man, I always wanted to join. My dad was a lieutenant colonel in the Nicaraguan army. Why don't I explore this, and this might be a way to get some consistent income too on top of that to meet my child support obligations and all that. And then so I joined. So I got accepted. I made it on the cutoff, Oh
yeah.
And 34, and then it was the toughest thing because
You just have to do boot camp and stuff?
Yeah, I had to do boot camp and everything.
At 34.
At 34. And I was in shape, though.
That would have killed me.
I would
have died right there in boot camp. I fell over and died.
I was a black belt karate guy.
That's true. You're more fit. So.
And brown belt judo at the time. And I was doing jiu-jitsu as well. I was fit. I was an instructor.
Yeah.
I said, hey, let's do it. And then the tough part was I wrote a letter to my kids that I was going to be going to boot camp, was going to be gone away, and I gave it to my ex-wife. She never gave it to them, and that was tough. And then she and I didn't tell her I was joining because I knew she was going to give me a lot of flack and it was going to be difficult. Yeah. I was trying to stay close to a nearby base too, but then somehow I got an airborne contract, go to airborne school after basic training and my forward observer school, and then they sent me to North Carolina, Fort Bragg, and but yeah, got through it. I remember the guys at basic training called me the platoon dad.
Nice.
But yeah,
awesome.
I did almost 4 years, and then it was tough being able to see them once or twice a year. And then finally 2014 December was the end of my contract. I was like, do I re-enlist? And unfortunately, the previous marriage to the second.
Oh, you're on your third marriage?
I was on my second. I'm on my third right now. Yeah,
wow.
And I'm keeping it that way.
Show off, dude.
I'm keeping it that way.
Yeah. 3 times as much as me, dude.
I know. But so, anyways, things didn't work out there.
Okay.
And we didn't have any kids between us, so it was a clean divorce. Yeah. Reconciled at the end, and then anyhow. And then I decided to not re-enlist. I decided to join the National Guard.
Okay.
So at least I could still serve and
go.
And I was going to attempt to go through the officer candidate program.
Okay.
Anyway, so then I moved back. And I had a chance to move back to Tennessee during that time. But I was like, I don't want to go through that. Their mother made it a living hell. Just trying to see the kids. To work in between.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I'm like, I have my whole family in California, Santa Maria area.
Right.
And the weather's beautiful. And I thought, why don't I move back there, start over.
Yeah.
And then I just was having my kids fly over and stuff. Yeah. And then those visits were some of the best because I felt like I really got a lot out of our visits. Yeah. And then,
but you said your daughter is living here.
And then now, and then
how old is she?
She's 20 now.
Okay, so as an adult, she can decide to leave.
Yeah, she decided to leave and and when she told me about it, I thought it was like the hugest blessing, like a dream. Like I always wanted to have them with me, at least. And I kind of miss that. I see sometimes families, units out and about or through jiu-jitsu, and sometimes I was like, wow, that's so cool. They get to do things together as a family unit. It seems so foreign, like it was something that was like ripped from me that I didn't get a chance to really experience.
Well, especially as growing up as a Christian and knowing that that's kind of God's design.
Exactly.
To have someone other than you that's kind of throwing a wrench in that for you.
Exactly.
To where you're even talking about infidelity taking place and you're still trying to keep the marriage together.
Right.
And she's like, nah.
Yeah.
She didn't
want to do the counseling.
Which is hard, man. I mean, because again, I said it's very admirable for someone because most of the time, if there's cheating involved, they're like, no. Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot of things you could do to me. Not that one. Right. We're done, right?
Yeah.
I thought to myself that if that were ever to happen to me, I would like to think I would try to keep the marriage. But again, until you're in that situation, I guess you really don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was rough. It was quite a betrayal. But aside from that, it's full circle. Just being able to have a relationship with my son has been a blessing, even though it's so far and distant. Because he's in Tennessee,
and he's 24 now. You said
he's 24, and for him to to invite me for his wedding was really special,
Okay.
you know. And
was his mom there too?
his mom was there. You know, we're cordial now.
You're civil? Okay,
you know,
cool.
we're civil, we're cordial.
Nice,
There's
nice.
no, like, bad blood between us that I feel there was, you know,
Sure,
years ago.
sure.
Because we got divorced in 2008.
Okay.
But aside from that, it's been a huge blessing to be able to still be in their lives,
Sure.
and then to have my daughter living
Yeah, that's awesome.
in the area,
That's
and
really cool.
and then having a good relationship with my current wife and
Yeah.
so forth. So yeah.
That's cool. Your
Yeah.
current wife and your daughter get along well.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
definitely.
cool.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's talk some God stuff, dude. This is what it's all about, man. This is the most important stuff here.
Yeah.
So I know you kind of already mentioned that your parents were Christians, I'm guessing. 'Cause
Yes.
You kind of grew up in a church.
Yeah. My dad was brought up Catholic, but then he converted.
He did. Okay. Is that
Yeah.
because of your mom? Was your mom a Protestant, and then they kind of?
No, I don't remember the whole story, but he changed over after he had gotten married, and he got a divorce, and then somehow.
Oh, he was married before he married your mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had I have another set of 5 siblings. From
Oh,
that.
dang!
Yeah.
5 half siblings.
Yeah, I'm like the 10th. I'm like the last
Interesting.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the, I guess, Benjamin. you
Yeah,
know?
dude. Yeah, for sure. So your dad was already a Protestant believer when he met your mom.
Yeah.
And she was too.
Mm-hmm.
And
They
then
met at the
that's-
church.
Okay.
And then
in Nicaragua.
Nicaragua,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
In Managua. And then they hit it off there, and
Okay.
yeah, and then they got married.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So I always ask people who kind of grew up in the church if there was ever like a defining moment for you where your faith kind of became your own, like where I mean, because you obviously wouldn't say you were born saved, right? Like you obviously you have to have your own faith. You can't
most
have
definitely.
your parents' faith. I mean, obviously they're teaching you their beliefs, but there has to be a moment where you kind of make it your own.
Yeah, I'd have to say, I think it was when I was around maybe 7. I think it was 8. Of what I remember. I remember hearing, like, I remember going to Sunday school. They would have the Sunday school for the kids.
Yeah.
And I remember this one.
Is this here in America at this point?
Yeah, this is San Jose. We moved to San Jose from Nicaragua, California, and
Gotcha.
I remember him talking about hell, heaven, and knowing where you are going when you die,
right?
You know. And I remember he had like a little mini altar call for the kids, you know, and raise your hand. And I was so embarrassed.
All the heads bowed and all the eyes closed.
and I couldn't do it. I was like, I wanted to. And there was a few times, like repeated Sundays, I remember.
Yeah. And
it was like kind of terrifying in a weird way. And I was a pretty shy kid growing up. And and so I remember being kind of just wrestling with those thoughts. And we were living in this house in San Jose that was owned by this Hindu family.
Okay.
And I don't know what, I've always been sensitive to stuff like any spiritual related matters, like from even shadows, creepy things.
Interesting.
I think I have a gift of discernment, you know? Okay. And to me, it could also be kind of like not so good sometimes because I can sense things.
Yeah.
And I've always had that. And I remember just being around the bedroom and just that eerie feeling like something's looking at you, like a little eye or something. Just creepiness, you know. And I'd be like, oh, and I would scurry back, you know, to my family. And I remember one night I was in bed and I remember. So it was like a 4-bedroom house, and my parents had a big master bedroom where there was a corner of the bedroom where I slept. It was a pretty good sized master bedroom in that particular house, and so I remember I And a lot of times I would have my covers over my head, and then one night I saw my mom was getting up to go use the restroom. There was like a hallway, and she went to the restroom, and then I appeared and I looked, and I saw this being. It was like the freakiest thing. It was like, it literally looked like Mohandas Gandhi, kind of like silhouetted. It obviously wasn't him.
Like a shadow of him?
Yeah. Okay. It was like, it was kind of like bull-headed. He looked like he had like a robe.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of hunched, and he was just standing. Okay. And I mean, I'm even getting a little jitters right now just thinking about it. I like freaked out. I like just went, boom, I covered, and I was like screaming.
Oh, man.
My mom comes, hey, is everything right? And then I was like, I saw something. It was like, no, maybe it's your imagination. It's like, no. Even to this day, it's so like, it's there. Whether it was this...
Well, yeah, if you're still getting chills all these years later, that's still real to you.
Yeah, so who knows?
Did it do anything? Did it say anything?
It didn't say anything. It just stared at me. It was like this cold-looking stare.
So you saw eyes.
I saw like what looked like
eyes.
Eyes coming out of the being,
And you're positive you were awake?
Yeah, I was awake. Right. Yeah.
You weren't taking any shrooms or anything?
No, not at 7 or 8. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. San Jose. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And then maybe a month or two later, I didn't see anything, but I was always, kind of spooked about that, My parents couldn't explain what I saw, or they just kind of And I do remember my dad saying, pray to God, pray to the Lord,
Right.
And then, and I remember one night, I felt like something was calling me, and I felt like the spirit, like something was hovering over me. I couldn't really see it.
While you were sleeping?
Yeah, while I was sleeping, I kind of slowly woke up, and I remember what that minister said in Sunday school was talking about, like, giving your heart to the Lord, and you will be saved. Call upon His name, and you will be saved. Believe that you are in heaven, and when you do that, there's going to be a big party in heaven.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
right.
blah. So those are some thoughts in my head, and I felt like something was like beckoning me. Like it wasn't words; it was just something was like this, And then I felt it kind of going away, and then I reached out to it, and then I prayed. I said, in my mind, I said, Lord Jesus, can you be my savior?
Yeah.
And I just remember this like flood of like joy coming in my heart, that it was real.
Yeah.
And kind of getting a little emotional.
Yeah, that's fine.
I haven't spoken about this in ages.
Yeah.
And then I just remember this joy, and I woke up my parents about it. And so, oh no, that's good. Congratulations. My dad was very, very formal, in his speech, and he was always that way.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Kind of stoic, huh?
Yeah.
But he was a military guy, right?
So maybe so, yeah. I mean, he was kind of comedic from time to time, but he was very, very kind of black and white sometimes. And anyways, and then I just knew I was saved, and then so that was about when I was 8. Wow. And then I didn't see any more of these spooky stuff in the house.
Okay. Well, I would tell you, man, I've heard hundreds of testimonies on here at this point, and there hasn't been any like that.
Oh, okay.
That's the first time I've ever heard of a something hovering over you while you're sleeping that you reach out to. And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I just remembered asking, will you come? Because I felt like it was definitely the Lord, or His Spirit, for sure.
Do you think that the Gandhi one was an evil spirit, and the one over your bed when you got saved was a godly spirit?
Yes, I believe that it must have been demonic of some kind, manifestation, and who knows, maybe any rituals that might have happened in that home. Because it was Hindu,
right? Okay,
may have had some of that aura.
Yeah.
who knows? But I do remember like seeing like little creepy eyes, like in a sense, like just kind of like that feeling of like something staring at you.
Yeah, because when you were describing that too, by the way, I was picturing Dhalsim from Street Fighter 2. You know the guy?
Yeah. The flexible dude.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing, but like an evil version.
Like an evil version.
Evil Dhalsim.
But he was just still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and it was definitely a change in my life. And we moved a lot because, my dad coming from another country, trying to get solidified with new career and everything. Sure. He was an engineer, civil engineer, geologist. But it took a while for him to get his career back going, starting afresh in his mid-50s. But aside from that, and then later on we moved from San Jose to Pinole, California.
Where the heck is that?
Yeah, it's in the Bay Area.
Pinola?
Pinole.
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 I have lived here my whole life.
Really? You never heard of it?
Never heard of that town.
Yeah.
Is it small?
It's a small, like, mountainous community, but it's right near, one of the bays or something,
Pinol?
Yeah, Pinole.
Okay.
Yeah, nice little community, and so we were attending a Baptist church there, and I remember the pastor there. He was a World War II vet. He was a pilot, and he flew those transport planes over the Himalayas to when they were supplying the Chinese to fight the Japanese. Okay. But he became a pastor years later, and he was pretty old. Pastor Prop was his name. Okay. And he, I remember my sister being interested in being baptized, and then when I heard about her, I was like, I want to be baptized too. Okay.
And, you have a sister too?
I have several sisters. Yeah,
you do?
Yeah,
but you're the youngest?
I'm the youngest. Yeah.
So you have older sisters?
Right. I have 2 older sisters and 2 older brothers within my immediate family.
Right. Okay.
And then another set of 5.
Okay.
From my dad's previous marriage.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear you mention sisters earlier. That's why I was like, hey, do you have sisters? I think you mentioned your older brothers that were way older than you.
Oh, yeah.
Are your sisters way older than you as well?
Yeah, the next one up, her name is Elizabeth, and she's 6 years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And then it just goes from there.
Gotcha.
But anyways, and then so I was interested in getting baptized, and I remember my Sunday school teacher was the wife of the pastor, and she was like, are you sure? It's a very important decision, something not to take lightly.
That's good. She said that.
And I remember being like challenged. Like,
right.
Am I really?
Right.
Am I really saved? And I was like,
that's awesome.
And I was like, no, I know I am, Yeah. And then I just remember him that day getting baptized, and then just wow, it was a cool moment. I had a little certificate for many years.
Oh, yeah?
In the little Bible, and I lost it.
You lost it? Yeah, if you lose it, it doesn't count anymore.
yeah. But it said the date and everything. My sister, ironically, she got baptized later again because she felt like she didn't really feel like that was, like she really understood the meaning.
Sure, yeah.
But I've always felt like mine meant something.
And you were about how old at that time?
I was probably 9-ish, around there.
That's pretty
10
old.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I felt like I would say maybe 10.
Okay.
And I felt like, it was legit,
Okay.
And
Okay, so I have to ask you.
For sure.
With water baptism, do you feel that it's necessary for salvation?
I don't believe it is necessary, but I believe it's definitely a display of your faith to the public.
Sure.
And it's a pronunciation that, hey, I am a Christ follower,
right, right.
And I've been renewed.
Sure.
And
so if there was somebody that you knew that was, let's say they got saved 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're not shy about their faith. Everybody knows they're a believer. They talk about the Lord all the time.
Yeah.
And they've never been water baptized. Would you tell that person they should still be water baptized, or is it kind of like, well, the whole point of water baptism is to let everyone know you're a believer, but everybody already knows that anyway because it's been 30 years since you got saved. Would you still think that person should get baptized?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a special, proclamation.
Okay.
To not only the body of Christ, other fellow believers, but it's a great way of not being ashamed.
Yeah.
You know, that, hey, you know,
Yeah.
And maybe in that case, I would encourage them to maybe not, if they don't want to do it in front of the church, if they feel weirded about it, like, or maybe go to a retreat somewhere, maybe go to the,
like more private.
Yeah, somewhere private, and it doesn't have to be, you know, a huge announcement, you know, if they feel like they just need a, you know, or if they need some help, like that one movie, Nacho Libre, you know, the guy, like, I believe in science, and then he comes out after a wrestling match, he's like, I'm a little worried about you, about faith and stuff, and then he's just like, he sneaks in the bowl wire,
forced baptism, I love it, so funny, man. Oh my gosh, but I mean, so do you think like another person has to be involved? Like, what if a person were like just in their bathtub and then they just baptize themselves?
I would say another person.
At least one other person. Someone else should be doing the dunking.
A witness of some kind. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. This stuff fascinates me. Like, because I go back and forth with people about it.
Yeah, for sure.
The Bible's talks about water baptism all the time, of course, but there's obviously no verses that say you have to do it in order to be, at least that I've seen.
Right.
I know, so there's some verses that people will try to use to say that, but I'm like, but that's not what it says.
Yeah.
You know, but...
And I always think of the example of Jesus Christ when he began his ministry, was when John the Baptist had baptized him, you know, and then there was the grand, you know, the symbol of the dove, the Holy Spirit coming down to commune with him, and you know, the completion had been made. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's a great representation for us to be able to do that as well as Christians.
Yeah, but not necessary. Because like you believe you were saved. If you would have died the day before your water baptism, you still would have been in heaven. Yeah, right? For sure. Yeah. But if you would have died the day before that experience with the thing in your bed and you asked the Lord to be your Savior, then you wouldn't be. Right. You would have been in hell. Yeah. Right? Okay, so that's more the defining moment.
Yeah, because at that stage, I definitely knew what was good and evil. Sure. You know, I had an understanding of it. Okay. You know, so. Do
you think? Okay, so that's like age of accountability. Is that kind of where you're going there?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. So you know, I felt fear. Okay. You know, I felt like, wow. Especially when, you know, inside, I felt like, wow. Yeah. I need to do this at some point. Right. This is something serious. Yeah. I felt the gravity of it. Sure. When that minister was talking about it during Sunday school, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, age of accountability is one of those things. Yeah. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I see that taught anywhere in Scripture, but a lot of people hold to it. So,
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
The only verse people ever use is I think it's in 1st or 2nd Kings. Okay. Where King David, where his son dies, he impregnates Bathsheba, remember, and then the firstborn dies before Solomon. Yeah. And it says, David said, we have David's recorded words of saying, I know I will see him again someday. Yes. Talking about his son. But I'm like, well, but that's a historical, like, we're reading what David said. Yeah. That doesn't mean that's definitely true or like he's definitely going to see his son. Yeah. David said lots of things. That doesn't mean we can say, oh, that's an evidence of truth right there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, to me, that's kind of a stretch. But, I mean, I think the age of accountability is comforting for people. Yeah. Because when like children die or, you know, even like aborted babies or that kind of stuff, and it's more comforting to think, well, they're all just automatically in heaven.
I believe that. In my belief, I feel like, you know, they died innocently. You know what I mean? They weren't aware. You know, and I very very feel that maybe there was somehow God was comforting David during that time that no, you'll see him again.
No, I mean it could be that he could see him again, but I would look at it like that baby, even though he died young. I would say, even though he didn't maybe have the awareness or the mental capacity to think about Jesus or about salvation or about any of that stuff, but that I think true salvation to me is more of a heart response.
Yeah.
And I think that heart response can take place even as an unborn baby.
For sure.
I mean, you look at like John the Baptist,
Yeah.
Leapt in his mother's womb when Mary came in the room.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there's definitely something there. It may not be a mental consciousness or an intellectualness about it, and that's kind of the way we treat salvation these days. It's like, okay, well, you have to understand that you're a sinner in your mind, and you have to say these words with your mouth, and it's like, and that's why they say, well, a baby that's not born has never spoken a word, and they're not having those kind of thoughts. But I'm like, but what about their heart?
Yeah.
Right? They have a heart. They have a soul, right? When I say heart, I don't mean the beating muscle. They have that too, of course. But I'm talking about like their inner soul.
Yeah.
And I think that soul is I think every soul at some point before death, whether that's an abortion or you live to be 98, is at some point going to say yes or no to the Lord, like touching it or saying, hey, I'm here, do you receive me or reject me, kind of.
Yeah.
But I also know that this whole belief system that I just explained about my view on age of accountability is not popular. I'm one of the few people that holds to this view. I do completely understand that, but that is kind of where I'm at with it. But I do know that even on here, I've talked to people and they're just like, no, there's no way. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm open to change it, but again, I'd have to see a scripture that says you need Jesus to be saved unless you're under the age of 12. Then,
I see what you mean.
Then you get a pass all of a sudden because you don't need Jesus because you don't have the mental capacity yet to really decide whether or not you want to believe in Jesus.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So,
I'm not stuck on that per se. Okay. I think I just naturally said that just out of, explaining my situation. And,
sure.
And my experience to salvation.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say in your experience as a very young person, to me, sounds more convincing than most people that talk about their experience at that age. Usually it's more along the lines of, like we were talking about, okay, you're in a Sunday school, does anybody love Jesus? Yeah, I love Jesus.
Yeah,
do you hate hell and hate the devil? Oh, I hate the hell. I don't want to go to hell. Yeah. Well, all you got to do is pray this prayer. So with all the hands raised and all the, and pray this prayer after me. And that's, and I got saved when I was 8 that way. It's like, maybe you did, maybe you didn't.
Yeah.
But like you had something totally different happen to you.
Yeah, and I do remember those prayers, and I would say it like in my head, but then he required us to raise our hand if we did, and I couldn't do that. No. You know what I mean? Maybe it was a little pride or just embarrassment.
You're like, maybe people have their eyes open.
And so I think that's the way maybe the Lord reached me, because he knew I was more inclined to accept it in a more private way like that. It was more like, I guess in a way, he reached out to me versus me just saying a phrase,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I had that kind of experience. I've never had anything like that, even as an adult. Never. For me, it was a totally different experience. So that's pretty cool, definitely. Man. Yeah, it's awesome. So since that day that you had, hang on a second. That day that you got saved, and along the line, have you gone through like seasons of doubt at all, or have you always been like steadfast, like no, there's nothing, I'm good to go? There were some really close times I had. I remember when I was in middle school, junior high.
I felt like my faith was really fervent and strong. I was part of a youth group that was it was a good youth group, and then in my high school years, when I kind of got detached from that life, and then I moved to Santa Maria, it was different. My faith was still there, but we were going to First Baptist Church. Right off,
BCA?
Okay. And then they splintered. The pastor didn't agree with the board members for some reason. This is like in 93, somewhere around there. Yeah. And so he had his own little faction group. Right. My parents followed him.
Oh, okay.
And so the youth group was very kind of so small. And then I felt more secular around that time.
Interesting.
I was didn't have much friends. The few that I had, they were part of the church, but they had their own little cliques on top of them.
Yeah, because they're already old.
Yeah.
High school age.
And then I tried to get in with some people at Rigetti that were going to like campus life.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah. I hated those people.
And they weren't very welcoming.
Oh, no?
No. There was one guy I was like, I go to this campus life. And I was like hoping, hey, can you invite me, man? I didn't want to go by myself, dude. And not even an invite.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I ended up going to like a spring break trip that was hosted by Campus Life.
Okay.
And there was this cute girl in my psychology class that was telling me about it. I'm like, hey, I want to, I don't know if I had alternate motives.
I'll join whatever you want me to join.
Yeah. But, and then her and her friend, they had boyfriends at the time, but I was like, hey, cool, get to meet some different people, And it was a really neat experience, They had some good Bible studies for that week long.
Where was it at?
Catalina Island.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was my senior year, and
Nice.
most of the students there were juniors.
Okay.
Some sophomore. You
still in touch with them at all?
Huh?
Are you still in touch with any of them?
Just the girl that had invited
really?
me, just through social media, but not. You know what I mean? That's it. It was a week-long thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
awesome.
It was funny. It was
so
funny.
good.
One guy came up to me. He's like, "Man," and I remember what it was. He goes, "How come you're with 2, 3 pretty girls? Like, what is your secret?" And I was like, and I remember thinking, it got all prideful or something.
Yeah.
And I said something like, "Well, when they're pretty, they're easier to talk to."
Yeah.
Made some things.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I had the confidence like you, man.
Say,
He was from some other church or whatever. You're
like, it took years of practice to be a stud like you.
Yeah, exactly. And that cracked me up just thinking about that.
That's funny.
But
that's awesome.
But no, it was kind of stagnant. I wasn't really growing, and then it was not till I tried a karate class for the first time, martial art class. My buddy was just had become a Christian, so he was on fire. He was having his own little Bible study.
Oh wow!
Yeah, right off the bat, and he ended up becoming a pastor and
here in the area.
No, he
was a
missionary to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So him and his family have been doing that.
Well, how did you meet him then?
I met him through church. He was attending church at the time. He was just a brand new Christian.
Oh, but I thought you said he was in Mexico.
Well, he later went to Mexico.
Oh, but you met him here.
I met him here.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Santa Maria.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and his name is Ryan Case. Good dude.
Okay.
He was a wrestler, and then so he helped me with some of my jiu-jitsu grappling and then karate as well. And then there's another friend too, and so they invited me to try out the class, and then I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I remember Carl. I don't know if you remember Karl Marx.
Yeah,
Carl.
CKD.
Yeah. Well, no, not CKD. CKD was something that Heather and Travis Christensen were his black belts, and then they started their own school.
But yeah, Karl Marx. Yeah, I
same
remember,
same style, but nonetheless,
K-Chudo.
Yeah, K-Chudo.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, same style nonetheless.
Yeah.
Great people.
Okay.
Heather and Travis.
Yeah.
But anyways,
that's other places I've seen you.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to think of where else it's been,
Yeah.
because my kids used to do CKD.
Is that right?
And I saw you at one of the booths that you guys had. You were out there with Travis.
Yeah.
And I was like,
helping
hey.
them out for when
I
I first came back. They were so gracious. They invited me into their school, and I was continuing my practice, and then and so forth, and then eventually. Had an opportunity to teach at the base, and then eventually have my own own school.
Okay.
But aside from that, Ryan invited me to class, and then Carl, we called him Soka, which means founder.
Yeah.
He's also, you joining or what?
Yeah.
It was very like.
You understood what he said?
Yeah.
I can never understand. I love that guy, but I can never understand a word he said.
Maybe towards the latter end of his life, his voice was a little more slurred.
Okay.
I joined, and then he was very pro Calvary Chapel, like to the death. I mean, he would invite even if you went to another church, he would always find, well, are you sure that you're getting what we're getting? We're doing, he was like, man, he was very, I hate to say aggressive about it, but he was very pro, not only his faith, but Calvary
his church.
Chapel. It was like, that is the church.
Do you remember when he would do the puppets?
Yeah, kind of.
That's my first introduction. We first started going to Calvary back in like 2002.
Yeah.
We'd pull, and he'd always stand right there, right by the driveway that went into the parking lot of the church, and he'd have little puppets on his hands.
Oh,
and he would be like doing this whole thing. Yeah, the kids, my kids used to think it was hilarious.
Yeah. And then he would just say some funny phrases, like one funny thing he would do. If you ever go to a restaurant with him, and at that time he had a little bit of a pudge gut,
Sure.
And anyways, and he would come out of the restaurant and just mess with people out there going in. It could have been like hometown buffet or something, and he would say, "Y'all too late." I'm like, "What? I'm sorry. I ate it all." And then he would start fussing up.
Ate out the whole all-you-can-eat buffet.
He was just like he was an intense guy at times.
Yeah.
But he had gotten to the point where he had killed the pride in his heart that he could just make fun of himself just to make someone laugh and start a fun conversation.
I still want to read his book.
Oh, okay,
He wrote a book, and I remember they were selling it at Calvary for a while about his life, right? About
there was one of them. Yeah, he did like 3.
Oh, did he write a few? Okay.
Yeah, there was 3 that he did, and so forth. But anyways, he encouraged me to start attending Calvary Chapel, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm going to just try it out for a month, and then forget I even mentioned it. Okay, just do it.
If you don't like it, you get your money back."
And so, man, and so I remember going to it, and it was at the old location near
off McCoy.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was at the old, closer to like A Street area.
Yeah, it's like West McCoy.
Yeah, down there. Yeah. And I remember walking in, it was like, man, the music is loud. Like, it feels like a concert, like a rock concert. It's like, man, I remember Big Ted, was like, "Hey, are you
Ted Evans?"
Yeah, Ted Evans, big handshake, like, took my whole hand, and, I was like, oh, and then I sat in the back, I don't remember, and then, and I went a few more times, and then I started feeling a new change, new kind of like it was a little more spirit filled than the Baptist church that I was used to, more dry. And this one was a little bit more like, wow, I feel something, kind of cultivating the softening of my heart again, I think that's what it was. And then before I knew it, like the next 2-3 months, he wanted me to start ushering, to help out.
Oh, were you doing that?
Yeah. Okay. And I think part of it was motivated by he had this envision of this new Keichido system, where all of his black belts were not only black belts but also ministers at the church. And so he was trying to like cultivate that with me to be in that new like mold that he was kind of envisioning.
Right.
I mean, it's not bad to have that, but he was really at that time trying to make it more of like a ministry than just a secular business,
Yeah.
But
cool,
I don't doubt, criticize him for that, and then eventually I became a deacon, and then unfortunately then we moved, and then
and then you lost your salvation.
I did. I did hate wearing those teal polo shirts. Yeah, I mean, that was like a dress code, and I remember Ted was like. He was like...
Oh, for the deacons, you mean?
Yeah, he was like... Or ushers.
Oh, ushers,
He was like... No, maybe it was just for the deacons.
Okay.
Or ushers. Maybe it was ushers. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember I was still ushering, and it was like the dress code, Yeah. I was like, man, can we wear like regular shirts and maybe have like a what do you call it? Not dog tag, but
like a little logo.
Yeah, a little logo or something that says your name. You're serving, but
like a name tag.
Anyhow, name tag. But
that's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because today at Calvary, we're back at Calvary now.
Yeah.
We've been back for like 3 years now. But,
oh, nice.
that today was like Deacon Appreciation Day.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
so they did the whole thing where they did the video and they showed the deacons.
Oh,
and
wow.
That, yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got a new... Do you know Patrick Ang?
No.
He didn't go there back when we did back years ago, but he does all the media stuff now.
Oh, okay.
And he's really stinking funny. So the announcements are always really funny now.
Oh, that's cool.
Because he's got a really funny sense of humor, and he adds a lot of that into there.
Yeah.
There's some funny videos out there, but yeah, it was cool.
But I did remember enjoying serving and stuff, and just being a part of the community and. Passing out things, passing out bulletins, and even at times getting a chance to pray, and pray for people up in the front. That was cool.
You enjoy that?
Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah, it was. I felt connected.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so I think for some people, and I think that's on purpose. I think that's divinely appointed. I think there's people that are just. They fit that well. Mm-hmm. Like I don't fit that at all. Like I don't like. Yeah. I mean, I do pray, and I do.
Yeah,
If a good friend of mine says, "Hey, man, I really need you to pray for me," then I'll totally pray for him.
Yeah.
But like the idea of standing up there and having people I don't really know, I don't know anything about them, just come and say, "Hey, man, I need some prayer."
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to like bust out this like eloquent long prayer right there on the spot. I just I freeze up. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm glad there's people that can do that. But
for sure. Yeah.
So you always that always felt really natural to you.
Somewhat.
Okay.
Not fully, but it was, I was still young, you know. I was like 23, 24. But whenever there was an event, I was always, and I even did the parking lot ministry. Helped out with that.
Yeah.
When, they still had part of their parking lot was still paved, like not fully paved, and so we would help direct people.
They don't have that anymore. There's no parking lot.
Oh, is that right?
No, you gotta fend for yourself, man.
That's funny. Yeah. We had walkie-talkies.
Yeah, I remember.
And then we would rush in and come back in. So I mean, and they were short-handed people, so then they pulled from us. And, there's Jeff. He's young. He can get out there. He don't mind being out in the rain.
He's a go-getter.
Yeah, send him. Yeah. And then I did the Timothy's courses for.
You did?
I did one semester.
Oh, you didn't make it. You failed, dude.
I did. I was going. No, I did two actually, and I remember it was Dave Villaretti was running, and it was some good stuff. Yeah. They took a break, and then during that long break, I had gotten later married.
Okay,
and then we moved on. But it was a good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was.
How many semesters is the full course? 3.
I think it was 4.
4, okay.
I think it might have been 4, and it was called the Timothy's courses.
Yeah.
And then you got like a certificate. You're like
you're like ordained. You could be
an ordained minister. Like a layman preacher kind of thing. That's what Carl had.
Yeah.
And I remember him encouraging me to do that, and it was tough because I was part-time college student, finishing up my business program, and then teaching at his school, doing that. I mean, it kept me busy.
That's good.
And then having a part-time job at the warehouse at the time.
Oh, like the music store?
Yeah, the music store.
Really?
Yeah.
Over there by where CKD is.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Everything comes full circle, man.
Yeah, full circle. Yeah. I was there. Got to meet Michael Jackson there.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he came in there one time. Like 5 minutes before we were about to close.
Interesting.
He came in with like 2 of his kids.
Okay.
He came with like an older like lady nanny, and then another woman.
What year was this?
That was like a bodyguard. This was probably 98.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. He bought like, I don't know, $800 worth of. He kind of had like a scarf over his face.
Yeah.
And he had that quiet voice,
Yeah.
And he came up to me. And I was like trying to keep cool. I should have gotten his autograph. I didn't even think about it. Yeah. And I was just trying to be all professional. I'm the clerk. And he's asking me about these movies, and I'd be looking at see if we had it. I remember him asking for The Shaft. Just like, hey, do you have any of the Shaft shows on VHS?
Yeah.
Not showing up.
Funny.
What about Winona Ryder? Any Winona Ryder movies? I guess he was a fan of hers or liked her.
Yeah.
It's like, let me look, And then he had some music. But one thing I was so impressed was we had some music, like, it was like upbeat kind of music, like, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like looking through like stuff. and he's just like feeling the music,
totally.
and he's like, just following it, like just like perfect. I'm like, wow, that's talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the guy was something else, man.
And then
was this after closing hours, or was he just there when it was open with everybody?
Typically what we did when it was like 5 minutes before, we would like let that last customer, but we would lock it.
Right.
And so I think he purposely did that, knowing that we would lock up.
Yep. And that's worth it because he spent so much money. I remember Toys R Us used to do that. They would close down and he would go in there and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff.
$800 like 30 years ago is probably a lot now. I don't know.
All that aside, let's finish up with this. So I like to kind of devil's advocate Christians on here, just kind of like a little bit like why would you say, of all the belief systems out there, all the different, whether it's atheism or whether it's even within deistic religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever, or even among the quote-unquote Protestant denominations, like Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormonism, why do you believe that the one you believe in is the right one?
I think because I don't have any personal relation with any of those other deities that people claim they are, or movements. Have I looked into them at one point just out of curiosity? Yeah, I have. But whenever I hear the person talking about it, it seems very like I have to do this X, Y, and Z to get to this state of enlightenment, or I have to follow these creeds religiously, and it seems like a continuous, like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that.
Yeah.
And with this faith, it feels like I have an old, it's more personal. It feels like it's a living and breathing entity in a sense, where when I read the Bible, I've read the Bible maybe a few times through my life, various times, but I always draw from it, and it's just it's a living thing. It's hard to describe,
It feels more real.
It feels more real, tangible, and I'm getting feedback day by day. I hear His voice. The more I'm in His Word, praying and communing with the Lord, I feel more like channel of communication in a sense. It's hard to describe, and it feels eerie and weird just describing it like this. And like,
well, I get it because I believe the same thing. Yeah,
and with the other religions, I don't see people like coming out saying, "Man, I feel it." I mean, maybe they may feel enlightened, like maybe going to like I'm just theorizing, like a 7-day yoga retreat out into the remote mountains where they feel like, oh no, I feel
peaceful.
Mystic, I feel peaceful. Yeah. I feel that harmony. I feel that mountain retreat. In my head, sometimes I have that mountain retreat just sitting in my little, I call it like little casita room in my house. It's like it's a den.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes open it up in the morning, the Bible.
Yeah.
And then I'll have like a little moment like, wow, I just had that mountain experience right here. I didn't have to travel anywhere.
Right.
I didn't have to spend thousands of dollars to a guru.
Yeah.
That's going to guide me through all this stuff.
Right.
It's
almost as if God can be anywhere He wants to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And so I would say, for me, I hear other people's point of views and like no, this is real for me. I was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean, but is it fully manifesting in all areas of your life?
Right.
And a lot of times whenever I hear them, whether it be atheists or people that believe in like a new age kind of religion or even Buddhism, it doesn't carry everywhere in all walks of their life. Unless, I mean, I've seen Buddhist monks, they claim, but they've isolated themselves from the whole world.
Yeah.
And that's where they can claim that, oh no, I'm living in one here,
right.
and blah blah. But
do you feel like with Christianity, like Christians can live? I'm guessing maybe this is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Christians don't have to go to a temple out in the middle of mountains to get that.
Right, exactly.
They can do that in their day-to-day lives as they live and breathe and work and have families and jobs and everything else.
Yeah, and it feels like in those other religions, it's you got to put in to get something out of it. Mm-hmm. This one's a living, breathing. Right. The Lord reaches for us when we're not reaching out to Him. He finds us when we're trying to hide away.
Right.
And it's just this constant walk, literally, like throughout the different timelines of my life, that I can't deny it. Yeah.
Do you think that do you think that's the difference between somebody who's saved and who's not saved? Is that the saved person, the Lord has reached out to them, or do you think He's also reached out to the unsaved person, but for whatever reason they're just not? They're not seeing the truth in it the way that you're describing right now.
Yeah, I think the Lord tries to reach out to the lost in various ways. And even if it's blaring in front of them, where they might be looking at the horizon of this mountain they climbed, and then there's one guy with his phone playing worship music, and the back of his t-shirt says Jesus saves. And I saw that firsthand. I don't want to mention the details, but he's a very famous jiu-jitsu instructor, and I love the guy. And you wish even the people that you admire and that you see as mentors in different walks of life, you wish it for them. But there's evidence. There he shows himself some in various shapes and forms.
Yeah.
And he can beckon them like he beckoned me.
Right.
But if they're not reaching it back.
Yeah.
To grasp it, then what can you do? God gives us that free will at the end of the day of making a choice. He doesn't want us to be robotic and saying, because then there's no manifestation.
And there's no true love. Right? Yeah. Exactly. So why do you think though? Like, why do you think you responded the way you did, and then let's say a friend of yours that doesn't?
I don't know, and that's the mystery of the faith. Was it preordained that I was to be chosen?
Yeah. Depends on if you're a Calvinist or not.
Yeah, I don't. I can't put myself in that doctrine because I don't know how God works exactly. And everyone responds differently, and and it's I don't know. It's His grace that gave me that ability to like, hey, I'm going to reach back, Right. I'm going to grasp it, I sense the need. I mean, I was, encouraged through upbringing a little bit, but ultimately it's my own choice, you know?
Right.
And I think people have that choice. And I even wrestled it when I was, years ago. I was thinking, what about the indigenous people in remote areas of the world that never went to church, never had a preacher come to them?
That was always my
I always wrestled with that too. It was like, well, what about the Native Americans or people in the remote South Pacific Islands?
Yeah, or even some kid who's just like you, but his parents were Muslim.
Exactly.
And his parents brought him up in the ways of Islam and taught him all that. Right, and he's just like you, but he's the other religion.
Yeah.
So then you think, well, that doesn't sound fair.
Right.
He chose the wrong one because his parents taught him that. Right. But I mean, we almost have to believe as Christians that the Lord reaches out to everybody.
Yes.
And they say yes or no.
Yes.
Regardless of whether
He manifests himself in a way that they can understand.
Right.
Even the most remote, uncontacted indigenous soul out there,
right,
in the Amazon, has an opportunity for God to reveal Himself in some way, or the Lord in some way. I mean, I even, I've always been fascinated with history. It's something I even was thinking about becoming a teacher down the line. And then art.
History teacher?
Yeah, history teacher. And then art. I loved art.
Yeah. And then you could teach. You could be a wrestling coach.
Exactly.
On the side, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
sports coaches are always like history teachers or like that kind of stuff.
Home ec teachers. Yeah. Anyways, and I remember there was like I don't remember if it was Quetzalcoatl, and there was a legend of him, and he was like this. Person that descended from the clouds. Mm-hmm. He had a beard or whatever, and who knows? And he was light in complexion, and he communed with the people, and he was trying to tell them, hey, and encourage them to stop sacrificing, meaning other people,
right?
And then he goes away or whatever. But hearing those legends, and then of course Cortez comes in, and then they thought he was that person.
Yeah.
So they freak out.
Yeah.
Because when he returned, that was the end of the world, I guess, so to speak. But who knows? I even think about that. It was like maybe it could have been the Lord somehow manifesting himself.
Yeah.
Even in those ancient times.
Sure.
We never know.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's almost like he's all powerful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly, which he is. Yeah, which he is. Yeah.
Oh
so
man!
I hope I answered that question.
You did, dude. You nailed it, man.
Kind of a roundabout way.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's the way I think.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, that's it, man. We'll cut there.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it, man. That was,
thanks,
a lot
dude.
of fun. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I would love to hear from you. Please send me an email and make my day. Also, let me know if you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show. You can do both of these things by using the email, whycan'twetalkaboutthat@proton.me. Thanks.